Warning: this program may contain explicit language that may be considered offensive or inappropriate to children and some adults.
The following content is intended for mature audiences only.
Hello, and welcome to Talk It Out, where we talk it out. My name is Duryea Rashad, and I'm so happy for you all to be here with us today. It is Thursday, our favorite time of the week. If you've never been to Talk It Out before, Talk It Out is a space where people of opposing views can get together and have a healthy, productive dialogue in a respectful way. Keeping in mind that it's not always about proving who's right and who's wrong. Sometimes it's simply about listening and being heard. Now, before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping things. I want you to go ahead and head over to YouTube, or if you're already watching on YouTube, subscribe to our page, click that like button, give us a comment, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you're notified when we have upcoming episodes, new content that hits the streams. And some of that new content will be coming to you next week as we have a 24-hour live stream, which will be a fundraising event for Nelly Media's first ever self-produced film. It'll be the first episode of our web series, Woo Woo. The web series is called Flirting with Destiny. We'll probably tell you a little bit more about it that day, and maybe during the show you get some hints. Also, if you're watching right now, go ahead and share, period. I always click the wrong one. Go ahead and share with your friends and your family so we can grow the Talk It Out family. Make sure that you let them know that we're live right now and they can hit us up in the comments. All right. Now, let's introduce our panel. Now, before I go into introducing our panel, I want to let you know if you want to be a panelist on Talk It Out, make sure you hit us up at admin@wonellymedia.com. Send us an email there, or if you're my friend on Facebook, simply send me a message, or I'm always posting looking for panelists, and hit me up there. All right. So let's start off with our returning panelist for this evening. First and foremost, let's bring in our resident mom / social media manager / geeking out co-panelist, Ricky Z. What's up, Ricky?
Hi.
Hey.
No, I'm doing all right.
You say you're doing all right?
I'm doing all right.
Good. I like that. How's school been?
They're all sickly, and it's
Ugh.
I mean, it is what it is. Like, they're always sick. Pre-K babies are all gross. Love them. They're all gross though. They're all gross.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we thank you for your service and what you do. 'Cause I ain't dealing with no snot-nosed ass kids. We talking about. All right. Next, we're bringing in our one of our other recurring panelists, co-host of our upcoming show called Sipping Kiki. Sorry. And I guess we're not going to see this person today, but I'm bringing them on stream anyway. Mo Smith Pro, how you doing, Mo?
Hey, what's going on? I'm calling in from an undisclosed location. I'm being incognito tonight. So.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Incognito doesn't get to talk about Cash App.
Because I need it now more than ever if I'm calling from an undisclosed location. So Whatever donations you have, whatever amount, it doesn't matter. Make sure you hit me up at Cash App Mo Smith Pro. That's MoeSmithPro. P as in Paul RO. Amen, congregation. Amen.
Ooh, you know what I'm excited about though?
What's that?
He's gonna be on Geeking Out with us on our special episode on Wednesday.
Finally!
Right, Mo will be finally joining us on Geek It Out Wednesday night. That's another thing. Talk It Out next week will be on Wednesday night at 8, not Thursday, because that's the night of our 24-hour live stream. Speaking of Sipping Kiki co-panelists, let's bring in Mr. Tristan Daniels. Tristan is a whiskey lover, a music connoisseur, Southern gentleman, and a Netflix enthusiast, aka the third part of the Mouth of the South, the trio that is Noah and Tristan. What's up, Tristan?
Hi, how's everyone doing? Happy Thursday.
Excellent. We're all doing well. Okay. Next, we're bringing in returning panelist Kristin Jeter. a performing artist who has graced stages all over the U.S. and internationally. She serenaded us on her first appearance on Talk It Out. She is currently based in Atlanta, where she grows vegetables. You have to hit every syllable. Sings in a band called OK88 and has a scruffy terrier named Rudolph. Please welcome Kristin Jeter to.
Pew, 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 pew.
Right, turn up. How are you doing, Kristin?
Oh, I'm so good. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be alive.
I'm so happy to have you here.
I also sell these t-shirts as well, these lioness t-shirts. Like, since we're plugging.
Yes, queen.
Since we're plugging stuff.
Plug, yes, absolutely. All right, and oops, I done did something crazy. Our next, hold on, I'm sorry, y'all. I exited out of my introduction screen, so I've got to pull it back up, but it'll take 2 seconds. Okay, great. Our next one, don't do that. It's not my fault. I can't help it happen. Our next returning panelist is my BFF and a master's. What do you call a master's degree holder? Because you call a doctor's degree holder a doctor.
Masters.
We're back.
I don't know. Anyway, my best friend who is a master. My best friend who is a master in American Studies. How about that?
There we go.
Graduate certificate in women's, gender, and sexuality studies. Currently, she's working on her PhD in American Studies, which focuses on horror in American culture. Please welcome Miss Emily Dodson Quarteroni. Mrs. Emily Dodson Quarteroni.
Ms. Please.
Is it
Ms.
Look, my kindergarten teacher disagrees, but okay.
I don't care what your kindergarten teacher thinks.
I care.
Then go on caring.
Anyway, why is it Ms. then? What's the difference?
Because I don't think that my marital status needs to be something that people automatically know about me. It's, I mean, for men, it's just Mr.
Right.
One day it's going to be doctor, and then it won't matter anymore.
Why don't we just change men's to instead of being Mr.'s?
Hey, if that's what y'all want to do, I support you.
I do that. I'm about adding things to the vocabulary, not taking them away. So let's start calling men who are married from now on Misters.
Because I want people to know that I'm married. Fact.
But you're not. So I'm sorry. The shade just popped out of me right there.
Wow, that hurt.
All right.
Ooh.
So next we've got 2 new panelists I'm very excited about having. One is a buddy of mine from the military, Aaron, who served for 7 years. He's heavy into music, sports, and writing scripts, which I found out just now as I read that. Please welcome Aaron to Talk It Out. What's up, Aaron?
What up, though? What y'all got going on, man?
You know, doing a
Nice
podcast.
lighting.
Yeah, your light looks great.
Mm-hmm. That screen.
Hey, he told you he's gonna make it work, didn't he?
Bright ass white screen on YouTube.
Oh, we just had to turn the brightness up. See, pro tip.
I'll show y'all when we go backstage.
Excellent. All right, so our final panelist rounding out the panel tonight is Mr. John Francois. I met John on a political group, I believe. John is the host and producer of The Anything Show with John Francois. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. A comical weekly pop culture hour that can be heard on several community radio stations around the country and wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe, rate, review on Apple, Spotify, and so forth. Each week, John and co-host Main Squeeze Mary dive into trending headlines, listener questions, viral videos, celebrity gossip, and they interview a variety of interesting talent. Like and follow on Facebook.com/The Anything Show and Instagram at Anything Show Francois. Please welcome John Francois to Talk It Out. What's up, John?
Hey, what up, everybody? How you doing? Thanks so much for having me on the show, Duryea. Kristin, I just want to say, very, very small world. Did you work, did you do any acting at all at Playhouse on Park in West Hartford, Connecticut?
I sure did.
So I used to work there, and I probably have seen you in a few productions. You actually have some mutual friends of mine on Facebook who I used to work with back in Connecticut.
Yeah,
so.
I did just one production there. I did hair. I've done hair 3 times, but my third time's a charm production was at Playhouse on Park.
Yeah. So I saw you in that production, and it was fabulous. So
oh my God! So you've seen me naked? Cute.
That was my introduction. So,
for anybody who doesn't know, in Hair, the tribal American love rock musical, at the end of Act 1, everybody in the show disrobes.
Right.
Which I don't really get naked. It's like
No, we really got naked. There's no.
Really?
It depends on it depends on the preference of the actors, but usually everybody's down because honestly, it's the least sexual thing we do in the show.
Okay. Well, I need to putting that on my calendar. All right. So now that we have our panel aligned, let's go ahead and head into some commercials. But no, I'm sorry. Let's head into our current events. But before we do that, as always, we're going to stop for a short ad break. Actually, instead of an ad break, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw something up on the screen. Okay. So I'm going to throw this up on the screen. This is the schedule for our 24-hour live stream. We have events all throughout the day. We're starting with Sip and Kiki, which is a pop culture, current events, music, reality show review starring me, Tristan, and Mo. Next, we have a comic drawing tutorial. Late Night with Liz is going to be music, talking shit, writing, talking about, and giving people advice. I think we're going to try to do like a Dear Abby thing. So if you want to get advice for anything, please email us letters at admin@wonellymedia.com, and we're going to talk about that stuff live. Unknown History with PJ, he's going to talk about the history of the Asian Americans' participation in the Civil War. The WAHR Power Radio Hour is going to be exactly that. Some original songs played back to back for an hour, boost your mood in the day. The Witcher, me and my friend Quanisha are going to review the first 3 episodes of The Witcher because we heard about it. So we was like, let's see if it's really any good. So we watched it and we're going to talk about it. At 9, we have a video editing 101. So if you want to learn about video editing for content creators, Cody Paul Francis is going to be leading that. He and his wife grew their channel from about like 100 viewers, 15,000 in the last like 3, 4, or 5 months maybe. So he's got the know-how. At 10, we're going to do an MCU theories and speculation thread. We're just going to talk about everything that's happening, WandaVision, what we think is going to happen in the future about incorporating the X-Men, all that fun stuff. At 11, we're going to talk about Malcolm and Marie, and we're going to review a live stage version of Much Ado About Nothing starring Danielle Brooks. At 1 to 2, Jessica Myers is going to get on and she's going to talk about real estate investment. Jessica Myers just recently completed a $8 million deal with Hilton. So she's going to be talking about all the tips and know-hows to getting into real estate investment. First Time Financial is going to be starring me, Kristin Jeter,
What's up?
Tim DeHaas, and Samantha Harden, who's also works in real estate. And we're going to talk about basically budgeting and our personal journeys in finance. This will be the first episode of a future podcast that Nelly Media is going to be producing about finances. Then we're going to have a makeup tutorial by Brooke and Elise. At 5, we're going to have a cooking tutorial by Megan Cowgill. She's going to do 3-course meal, all featuring eggs, how to use something that you have readily available in your house to get fancy, okay? At 7 to 8, we're going to have an LGBTQ panel. Then at 8, we're going to have Talk It Out, where the topic will be defunding the police. And then at 10, we're going to do an episode of Geeking Out, which will finally feature Mo Smith. And that is what you have to look for next week at our 24-hour live streaming event. Destiny will actually be on the panel. That'll be fun. All right.
Yep.
So that was our
So it
commercial.
begins with Mo and it ends with Mo.
No. So if there are any sudden changes to the schedule, then Nelly Media is not responsible for those sudden changes. Anyway, all right. So let's talk about. I know it's a little rude. Let's talk about current events. So before we go into current events, I had this question that was on my mind, and I posted it as a meme on my friends page, right? And the question was, if you are out in public and you encounter your best friend's significant other cheating, what do you do? I can't tell you how surprised I was at some of the responses. I was so surprised at some of the people who literally said they would mind their business.
Wait, so if you catch your significant other cheating.
No, your best friend's
best friends. Okay.
So you're out in public and you're like, oh, there's my best friend's significant other. What do you do? So I want to open up the conversation right there. What do you do if you catch your best friend's significant other in public with another person? Who wants to go first? Tristan?
Yeah. I've thought about this and I've had conversations about this with friends. This is my opinion. I think that you should, if it's your best friend's partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, you probably know them and have some kind of loose relationship with them. So I would say to them, hey, either you tell them or I'm going to tell them. Like if you can tell them or I can tell them. But either way, they're going to find out. Because at least my friends would beat my ass if they know I saw they dude out at Buffalo Wild Wings with some girl.
By Buffalo Wild Wings.
You know,
it's a date spot.
or whatever. My friends would get mad at me. Now, some people may say, well, you know, if you tell your friend, then her and her man may get in a fight and then they'll get back together and then they'll be mad at you and there'll be a problem. But at least for my relationships, I know my friends would want me to tell them. So I would give the boyfriend or girlfriend the option, hey, you can tell them or I will, one or the other.
I like that a lot. And I will add, get some kind of confirmation. Take a picture, take a video, because sometimes, you know, people are like, no, why are you doing that? You just wanna, oh, you jealous, all this other stuff. I don't know. You know, just like feelings may get in the way, like nobody stands in between me and my man. All of a sudden it's like, no girl, this is it. And this is the geo tag that says Buffalo Wild Wings.
That's a
geocaching.
but let me ask you this. This is why I say, because I agree. First of all, like if it was any of my friends, I feel like I would do it too. But the thing about it is like my friends would believe me. But I know a lot of people's friends. I was watching Love and Hip Hop, and Carly Red was on there, right? And Carly Red is known as like the messy one, right? But now on this situation, what Carly Red did was she sat her best friend down with all 3 women who were having an affair with her boyfriend. And then after this woman is faced with 3 other women who actually are having an affair with her boyfriend, and she still didn't believe it.
What?
She still was like, I'll wait till I hear from him.
What?
So, right. So after that, I was like, so I guess there is truth to that. So in my opinion, so the people who say they will mind their business, I totally understand that.
I mean, that's like that saying of like, don't talk shit about your significant other to me, because I'm gonna have problems with them. And if y'all break up and y'all get back together, then like I'm still not gonna have problems with them. Like, no, that guy's still trash. But if you're with them, don't start complaining to me about him anymore. Like I already told you how I felt about him. So
a lot of times the friend is the one who loses, though.
Yeah.
The one who tells. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm just saying. Go ahead.
Oh, I like how somebody had said on your post that, like, you know, they would like just immediately confront the person, and be like, hey, I'm so and such and such's significant other's friend. Who are you? How are you? And then like put them in that situation where like either you need to, how are you gonna play this? And then I got confirmation of whether or not I need to say something to whoever. But I like that one. I like that idea.
Somebody else was speaking. I wasn't looking at the screen. Somebody else was going to say something.
Emily was.
I was just going to say that if you see something before you decide to say something, be 100% sure. I mean, don't be seeing somebody out having dinner with someone and make all these assumptions, or there could be things about their relationship that you don't know. I mean, for me, it'd have to be like my best friend for me to tell them, because I'm not making assumptions about people's marriages.
And also, to add on to that, it could be like a sister you haven't met. It could be like a best friend. It could be I agree with that. Like, no,
I mean, if they're holding hands and kissing, then okay. But if they're just like at dinner, I just feel like you're really, you could really mess up their relationship and your friendship with that person.
Especially if they're B-dubs. Because B-dubs could be a lot. Like, I worked at B-dubs. A lot of different types of. It's rarely a date spot. I'm sorry. It's rarely a date spot. If it's a date spot, it's like we've been in the relationship and we're hungry for some wings in the middle of the night. It's not like you ain't trying to impress nobody. Nah, you ain't trying to impress nobody. No damn B-dub. John?
Yeah, I would here's what I would do. I would see the best friend's significant other, most likely cheating, and then I would go to my best friend and ask very vague investigative questions like, oh, how's the relationship going? Like, are you guys communicative? Or, have you guys been making love lately? Like, I would be that sort of vague spying guy just to figure out if what I saw is really what I saw.
You feel like asking somebody if they've been screwing their significant other is fake?
No, now that you think about it, no, that's not big. That's actually
okay.
I'm sure you would finesse it a little better than that, John.
Right. Okay.
Probably, but yeah, I try to, just sort of like I see the significant other doing whatever they're doing, and then I'd go to the best friend, and through whatever the best friend is telling me about the state of the relationship, I'd come to my own conclusion. I don't know if I would actually reveal to the best friend of what I saw, because I think, as one of you guys pointed out, like, you don't know if it was actually cheating. So I would probably do that. I'd probably like hint around it, hint that something may be happening. Maybe advise the best friend to, like, hey, have a conversation with your significant other if you guys don't talk that much lately. See what's going on, and if the significant other comes back or if the best friend comes back and says, hey, my significant other was cheating on me, then I'll say, okay, well, funny you say that because I saw something the other day.
No!
I would be pissed at you.
No, don't do that. Listen, if you're gonna do, just at that point, at that point, I would take that one to the grave. Oh, you what? Girl, he was cheating. Ooh, you take that one to the grave at that point.
I want to watch that scene unfold. These like carefully crafted questions, and it'd be like, well, now that you mention it, on the 3rd of November.
No, I feel like. Go ahead.
The thing that Ricky said is about going up and saying, "Hey, my name is Tristan. I'm friends with his girlfriend or her boyfriend." I think that works because that way, if it's someone who's just a sister or an acquaintance and it's not shady, then it wouldn't be weird for me to introduce myself. Does that make sense?
Of course not.
And then it would kind of put the earnest on the boyfriend or the girlfriend to like have to explain. Like, therefore, you can't get mad at me for simply seeing you and saying hi, because it would be rude if I know you and I didn't say hi. And if it's a regular person who you're friends with, you'll just say, oh yeah, that's my girlfriend's best friend or whatever. But if it's your side piece or whatever the case may be, things might get a little sticky, and you're going to have to figure out, what you're going to say.
All right. The one I really want to hear from is Aaron. Because he always got crazy ass takes on stuff like this. I just want to know. So if you see your man's girl out in public with another dude, what's your move?
So first of all, I'm gonna start off. B-Dubs is a date spot. That's first and foremost, because
you're married. It's different. Like I said, if you've been with somebody, sure, it's a date spot.
I done clapped cheeks. At the B-Dubs before.
Golly.
At Buffalo?
No, man, you can't clap cheeks. You got wing sauce on your hands and stuff, man. That's sanitary, bro. You can't do it there, but if you leave, I mean, it's time to go.
I'm mad. I can't.
No, but if that situation happened to me, first of all, I'm going to have to, at the bare minimum, talk to my friend about his or her current situation.
Right.
Because and also, I'm me. I'm a big dude, so I can confront damn near anybody. Hey, how you doing? What's your name, man? But that's the main point, because like you guys said, I don't want to jump to conclusions. Next thing I know, oh, that's just her cousin, or something like that. I don't know. But at the same time, I would hate to see my friend in that kind of situation in which they don't know. So there's two routes I would take depending on the type of friend, because we all got those friends that's, you know them, and they might take that as a, like, hey man, what the fuck you talking about? And then you got that friend that, damn, for real, bro? Well, you know what, I'm glad you told me. So you know which route to take depending on that friendship and that relationship that you have with that person. So I would base what I would do based off of who my friend is and how close we are.
That's very sound. I don't know what you're talking about. That wasn't crazy, Duryea.
I definitely would have to.
Y'all don't know him. Y'all just met him 5 minutes ago, okay?
Look, just don't act like that, because he know how to act in public. Leave him alone.
Whatever. Mo, what's your take on this?
Basically along the ending part of what he was saying, it would have to depend on the relationship that I have with that person because I keep my circle very small, as far as what I consider a friend. Now, if it's an acquaintance, I'm gonna mind my business because I don't know what their dynamics are. But if it's one of my, because with friends, I actually call them my family. That's my chosen family. So if I see one of my sisters' boyfriend, husband, and they with somebody that don't look like a family member, I'm gonna take a picture, and then I'm gonna come up and be like, "Hey, such and such, how you doing? You good, bro?
The high pitched
What's the business?"
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And then I'll be like, "Oh, who's your friend?" So that way, the way that they present them, it'll show, okay, if this is a cousin or a sister, they just go outwardly say that.
They will. You're absolutely right.
But if they hesitate, that lets me know, oh, my sister don't know what's going on. Okay, all right. Mental note. Thank you very much. I got the pictures, I got the evidence, and I got the conversation. So what's gonna happen? I'll be like, oh, I'll make sure I tell my sister I saw you today and walk off. So that basically gives him a choice. Well, I better bust myself out because she's gonna bust me. And it's better to come clean than have somebody else call you out.
But it's to me, I feel like it's still bad because to me, like, if I'm dating someone and they come confess to me that they're cheating, like, okay, say first they don't tell me the whole story, right? But they just tell me that they're cheating. They come out and tell me, okay, I'm gonna talk to my friend at some point. Oh my God, so they're cheating, and if they be like, yeah, I saw him, and I said, and they tell me the half of the story that, oh, so they only admitted it because they got caught. Then that to me is still like, because but that's a whole nother question. That's a whole nother conversation. Okay.
But you don't necessarily have to disclose that unless you want to, though, too. That's the thing.
What do you mean?
I mean, you could be messy and be like, I mean, if your sister, say, for example, I'm telling you, my sister says, girl, my husband said he's cheating on me and blah, blah, blah. I mean, you don't have to ask out to the woman and say, yeah, girl, I saw him with such and such at the mall yesterday. I mean, it's just, it's not necessarily necessary for her to get the receipts like that unless she needs it in court when she's divorcing him.
I don't know about that because like Emily said, like, I feel like I can understand your impulse to not tell, to give that other person the opportunity, but
no.
As a friend,
you're not hearing me. If my sister came at me first, so normally what would happen is that if my sister would call me first and say, hey girl, yeah, such and such did this, and I'd be like, for real? Yeah, he told me last night. For real? Oh, okay. If she's already volunteering that information to me, then there's no reason for me really to add salt to the wound except to be messy. Saying, yeah,
I disagree.
Saw him and such at the mall.
I don't think it's being messy.
Now,
I think it because
but the avid caveat
I'm gonna let you go ahead and
let me finish. But the avid caveat, if she needs evidence that he's cheating when they're in divorce court, I'll be like, girl, I got some pictures. You need these pictures because I got you. Because you my family. I got you. But
see, it's not even okay.
To the wound, be like,
so
hey, girl,
it's not salt into the wound to me. To me, it's like this. If my friend, because you have to realize, like, you have a relationship with your friends too. Like, that's a whole relationship. That's a whole thing that needs like attention, nurture. It's a whole relationship
and trust.
And that relation and trust. And that relation, and it needs to be built on trust. Like, if I have to tell my friend, if my friend's like, oh, someone's like, yeah, I think he told you because I caught him in public. Not saying it to add salt in the wound. It's just so that way I didn't tell you quicker because I hoped he would have told you. But believe me, if he didn't tell you by the end of today, I was going to tell you.
Right.
And then that way it doesn't seem
at the same time that goes back. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Go ahead.
That way it doesn't seem messy. It's just because you have to still, in a situation like that, when friendships get put in the fire, they can get put in the fire like that. People just assume a lot of the times that friendships, everything's gonna be fine, whatever goes. But sometimes when you find out that your friend kept something from you, even if it was like, well, I didn't want to add salt to the wound. Oh, damn, she gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you, and I'm gonna let it go after this. I think that when someone tells you something, you can tell by how they say it and how it's delivered, whether the intent is to be messy or to be helpful. I think that's why, like with the Love and Hip Hop example with Carly Red, maybe the friend didn't believe it because A, she was super in love, and B, you doing this on national TV and making a scene with these 3 women, that just feels messy. If you my real friend, you ain't gonna do this in front of cameras and make this scene. You gonna call me on the phone and have a heart-to-heart with me.
I hate to defend Carly Red, but
and I'm gonna let it go.
No, you don't.
Trying to defend her friendship.
She has a rep for being messy, and
yes,
so I think if it comes from a friend who's not known to be messy, you won't take it as mess. But if you have a friend who's always in some bullshit, who's known to be like, you don't want to hear that shit from them. You right message, wrong messenger.
Let me say this though. Cardi might have a reputation for being messy, but what she doesn't have a reputation for is backstabbing her friends. What she does have a reputation for is being a ride or motherfucking die. So, to me, I get you. She did it on TV.
But how? It's 3 of them. Like, if something pops off, like, she can't fight all 3 of them with her friend.
But no, Carly. It was Carly
she
there.
Wasn't on the one there.
It was Carly, Tokyo, Mimi, and the girl. So it was 4 of them and 3 of the other women. So that's what I'm saying. She planned that shit.
She came with a squad.
She knew what she was doing, and she was like, "Because if you go left, it's 4 of us. Look, we outnumbering y'all." And then she made them stagger in. They didn't come all at once. They staggered in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then on
look.
And then on top of that,
wait, I just want to say this about Carly Red, because at the end of the day, she wasn't mad that she was mad at Carly Red being messy, but that had nothing to do with the fact that she still didn't believe it. See what I'm saying? Like, she was still mad at Carly, and she still needed further confirmation. I'm like, if you have 3 different women coming to you, telling you things, and everybody's story matches, and these 3 different women had never talked to each other, it's kind of like, But anyway, I get what you're saying. It's a delicate situation. I just feel like honesty is always the best policy when it comes to any relationship. And like you said, Mo, you consider your friends family. I consider my friends family too. And at the end of the day, like, I'm more honest with my friends and my mama than I am with everybody else in the whole entire plant.
Yeah.
I mean, because
so then, what if you're friends with both people?
Yeah. I want to go to that question that Kinder Mage had posted, where it says, "What happens if you're friends with a cheater before you met the significant other, but consider the significant other a friend now?"
So you're saying that's a whole different scenario. I want to answer both of these questions.
Jerry, what if one of your best friends was cheating on one of your best friends?
Oh.
If it was me.
Well,
that's easy. That's easy. No, that's easy because I would just tell my best friend. I'd be like, "So you know what this is." I would just talk to my best friend directly and be like, "Best friend, fix it, because you're not gonna put me in this situation. Fix it." Yeah.
So you would tell the friend who's cheating to fix it.
And if they didn't, I mean, because that's not fair to me. I feel like, and honestly, I feel like as a friend too, you would never put your friend in that situation to choose between 2 friends. So you would just
they didn't know that you were going to be at B-Dubs that night.
But, but that's to that one. So the one that Kinder made. So Kinder made, you're saying that you're not only friends with your best friend, but you're also friends with the person they're cheating with? No. That's a whole bunch of Tyler Perry right there. The person what happens if you're friends with the cheater before you met their significant other?
But consider the significant other a friend.
Now, so you're really friends with all 3 of them in this scenario, is what he's saying.
Exactly.
There's nothing about being friends with the person who's cheating in this, like with the.
He says if you're friends with the cheater.
Before you met,
I mean, I can say from experience that, like, as someone that has been cheated on, I like whatever the situation. I disconnected from his friends. I don't like. I mean but that's just me though. Like I don't. Those are his friends, so I don't need to be with his friends. So therefore, I disconnected from his friends. So I mean,
to quote my grandmother, that's some trash can alley mess.
That's
what she called it, trash can alley mess.
Ooh, she sounds country. I love it.
That's Hot Mama. It's Hot Mama Honey.
Yeah,
that sounds country right there too. I love it.
But to answer that question, so I'm friends with the cheater and the cheatee.
Yeah, like say if you met them as a couple.
I met them as a couple.
Ooh. Right, like when you first met them, you met them together.
Well, Tom and Brenda, listen, I'm
Where
going
does your
to
loyalty lie?
Wait, who cheating? Is it Tom or is it Brenda?
Why would it matter whether?
Because it's gotta make a difference if it's my brother, if it's my sister.
Oh,
if my
sister, you about to say some of that shit I was talking about. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, lay this double standard out, please. Go ahead.
I'm a double standard type, but we ain't gonna get there. But listen,
Sounds like we there. Sounds like we there.
okay. We about halfway, just a little bit. We ain't took the whole car ride there. We on the way. We stopped to get gas.
All right.
So women are held to a different standard as men. So if I seen my friend as Brenda cheating, I'm gonna approach the situation like, yo, with Brenda, I'm appalled.
Really?
So no, but really, I'm going to. But if I see Paul cheating, hey Paul, I might not address it right then and there. I'm like, hey Paul, who was that? You was with, in the red dress, you kind of thick. So I'm gonna ask those questions because I want to know. Now, would I tell either one? Hell no, because that's too hard to tell. If I'm cool with both of them, it's a lot easier when it's one. But when I'm stuck in between two friends and I'm cool with both of them, that shit is hard. Because
but why would you tell Brenda in the moment, Brenda, you need to stop doing this right now, but you wouldn't tell Tom, hey, you need to stop doing this right now?
Well, there's a one-word answer to that question.
Well, tell him the answer then. You got it, Kristin. Tell her, come on. Come on.
Let me say this though.
Tell me.
I want to throw this into the mix. I'm gonna throw this into the mix. Well, it depends on what kind of friendship you have. I pride myself and my friends. We have a very real friendship, meaning honesty is like really, really high up there. Like we've all had some tough conversations, but we all appreciated those because we knew where they came from, and that is consistent. So we have those kind of conversations. And, I done been through hell these last years. And every one of my friends, supportive or not, have been like, Dury, get your shit together, goddammit. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of relationship you want to have with what I would consider a friend. If they're not that type of person in your life, I wouldn't consider them your friend. I would consider them more like, somebody you cool with, you get along with. But friends hold you to the fire, and they expect the best version of you. So when you are slipping, they're not going to judge you. But they will definitely say, hey, by the way, this is a photo of you slipping. You know what I'm saying? This is evidence of you slipping. Let's unslip. And I feel like that's what you're supposed to do. And I feel like a real friend wouldn't even be mad at you for that shit. They would be like, yeah, I know.
Wait, can I address this comment down here where it says, ain't nobody 100% honest with their friends, so no?
Sure.
I don't know who other folks is friends with. I'm honest with my friends. Like, I don't bullshit with the people who are my friends, like my friends.
You can't bullshit with your friends.
Why?
They're like, who is the show for?
Are they really your friends?
Right, and as a grown person, why would you want to be friends with people that you can't 100% be honest with and be vulnerable with? That's a waste of my time, your time. Instead of we can be acquaintances and hang out and kick it and not be friends. But if you my friends, like I will let you sleep in my house and eat my food and that kind of shit. Of course.
Damn, I can't have no food unless I'm your friend?
It seems like it's probably,
you really can't.
Okay,
no.
but
it seems like it's probably harder
time,
for men though to have those kind of relationships. And I'm not a guy, so I don't want to speak for y'all. But
but I mean,
at the same time, though, if your friend has a high standard about themselves, and you out there doing dirt.
I honestly agree with Emily. Let me say why I agree with Emily on the man thing, because I have a lot of male friends. However, let me say this right so I don't say sound stupid and sounds chauvinistic. Men happen to like I'm gonna say the diversity in my male group of friends is so vast. There's certain things that some of my male friends I can call them out on, and there's certain things I can't. Other male friends, like with certain of my male friends who align with more there's some of my more military friends who align more with like certain ideals of what maleness and masculinity is. I probably couldn't call them out for cheating, to be honest. I probably couldn't. Because they would be like, bro, what the fuck, man? Like, back up, But women are not my women friends don't seem to be that different in that aspect. Whereas a lot of them, my female friends, not all females, just my women friends, they tend to have the same type of values. And honesty is high on that list for a lot of my women friends. But of my man friends, They want you to be honest when they want you to be honest, and they don't always want you to be honest.
Part of that issue is, though, especially if we're speaking about black men. I'm going to speak about black men because I'm a black man, and that's what I know. Black men uphold other men cheating all the time, and I'm going to take you the perfect example. I've been getting my hair cut since I was 6, 7 years old. Not one time in the barbershop have I ever heard one of the men say to another man, yo, you shouldn't be cheating on your wife. That ain't cool, bro. That's not okay. What I have seen men do all the time, countless times, is uphold a man cheating, helping a man cheating, letting a man's side girl come into the barbershop and do shit for him and dapping him up after the fact. But I have not one time ever heard a man say to another man, hey, you know what? You got a good woman. That ain't cool, dog. You shouldn't do that. And so I feel like
they say that all the time in Tyler Perry movies.
That because Tyler Perry he a liar, and let me not. But my point is, I feel like if we, especially as black men, if we as black men held each other to a higher standard and held our brothers to account and said, hey, you got a good woman, you shouldn't do that, I feel like maybe more men would at least think twice about cheating.
And even if you're not really feeling that significant other, keep in mind that person is a human being with feelings. Don't do them dirty. If you don't want to be with that person, let them go and move on. Let them go. And quit wasting your time.
Right. Especially because if the shoe was on the other foot, I feel like men cannot handle that same.
Right, but people want their cake and eat it too, and that's just a whole other thing.
Mm-hmm. And that's true too. Men, when they get
for women to be out here just like cheating, doing things like that. If it's like if a woman is caught cheating, throw her away.
Yeah, it's like the only thing you can do worse than that as a woman is kill your child. I mean, other than that, I think that cheating especially if you cheat on a man, it's like the worst thing a woman can do.
Cheat for the streets,
or when you cheat, yes, for the street, or cheat with the best friend. Ooh,
but nobody does that. All right, so let's slide
more shit.
Speaking of,
I should watch. I haven't watched more.
Speaking of Love and Hip Hop, didn't that happen with Omarion and Lil Fizz?
But they're not best friends. Lil Fizz made that very clear. Okay. He made that very clear.
Allegedly.
Okay, so let's talk about this. We'll move to the next topic. That was a great topic. Okay, let's talk about this. I don't know if I want to discuss this or I just want to announce it. So I'm just going to announce it, and I'll let people respond if they want to respond, and we'll move forward. Elijah McClain. So there was Elijah McClain is. I'm going to say this wrong, so I'm going to not say that. Elijah McClain is a young man who was killed by the police. I'm not sure what his mental state was, but they help me, Mo. Please help me.
Was it Asperger's?
I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure.
That or
Either way, he was walking home. He was apprehended. His behavior, they say, was erratic, but his claims on the video, which is a horrible video, or just, like, I'm just different. I'm not like everybody else. Please don't hurt me. And as he was being murdered by the police, he was literally telling them that he loved them. And the investigation into his death found that the police had no legal bias to stop him.
No probable cause at all.
No probable cause to even stop him. So now that they had no probable cause to stop him, now can we discuss what the consequences are going to be for the fact that he lost his life in that encounter?
Nothing.
So I hope, don't say nothing.
You want the real answer, or you want the answer that you want to hear?
I want the answer I want to hear. Okay?
No, I'm going to give you the real answer. You know what's about to happen? Suspensions with pay. Paid suspensions under the investigation and resignment. That's it. They're going to resign, and they're going to get paid vacation.
They're going to get charged, but then they'll get acquitted.
And then they'll go to the next county over and get another job.
And nobody will ever have to even know that they did that.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's how it happens. That's what I've seen happen. Like, they might get paid leave, whatever. They might leave that job, but they're going to go to the next county over and get another police department and keep going.
Elijah McClain was diagnosed with autism.
Autism, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, it was an autism scale. Yes, I couldn't remember the word.
And they injected him with the drugs that were
ketamine.
With ketamine. And it was a dose that was for someone who was much larger than him.
Yeah,
I think they dosed
because
him
he was
twice.
a small guy.
Yeah, he was a small guy.
And
frame.
he's very small, dude. It just was unfortunate to watch because, man, that dude has so much light. Just in that little, and it's such a horrible encounter. All I could see was like, man, he's such a, it is horrible. So I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say that they will be held accountable because I'm throwing that out in the universe because every time a black life is taken,
smoking?
listen, please have some because when a black life is taken, damn it, it's got to matter. And this is more
what
so
about
than
black on black crime? That's all they'll say.
But see, here's my thing about that. I actually was just watching Love and Hip Hop because that's where I get all my philosophical news. And in Love and Hip Hop, they had Tamika Mallory on there with this rapper, and I don't remember his name. So sorry, but they were both advocates for the movement. And on the same episode where they were going to have this Black Lives Matter dinner with these two speakers, Young Jock, his artist, was murdered on the highway via drive-by. It was so interesting to me that this happened in the same episode. Like he found out the same episode, he got a text. Producers had nothing to do with this. It was a personal text that he got in the middle of it, right? So it's so interesting that these things are talked about at the same time because so often black on black crime, as it's named, coined, is utilized really as a whole other thing. However, we can't deny that there is violence in our community that should be addressed. So
they're just two separate conversations.
Two separate conversations.
But there's violence in all interracial communities.
I was just about to say.
Absolutely, violence in general is bad.
Right.
Okay.
Here's the thing with
wait. So let's Mo and then Aaron.
Okay, because proximity. Okay, the proper term for it is called proximity crime. Because basically, when people do crime, they do it in their own neighborhoods. They don't go out and search for other neighborhoods to do crime in. So, and also the second component that really no one talks about is that there's a direct correlation between crime going up when they have high rates of unemployment or underemployment and poverty. So if we focus on the poverty and also focus on children having activities to do, if you keep their asses busy, you won't have these type of problems. Right now, there is a representative in Illinois that is trying to pass a bill to prevent the sale of violent video games in the state of Illinois right now. And he's a black man.
Child.
Oh, he's drinking the Kool-Aid. Oh, that's cute.
He sipped the Kool-Aid. So, but nobody talks about that in the city of Chicago. They get less than $500,000 for any outreach programs in the entire city. But while the police force gets, I think, $93 million for their budget annually. So if we that's where defunding comes in, or reallocate, whatever you want to call it.
Next week on Talking
Out. That will actually solve the problem, but they don't want to solve the problem. They want to create these problems in order to create division, because when you create division, you can get over on people. And you can, because nobody's looking at your hand in the cookie jar while everybody's infighting with each other.
Right. And so it's like why does my police department need like a tank when spending money on a tank when you could be spending money on social workers and mental health
well, that's due to the military industrial complex. It's bad enough that they are basically gouging this country federally with buying things that we don't need. Like, for example, Halliburton has a non-compete contract, which is for a lifetime of the company. That's what Dick Cheney put in when he was in office as VP.
But
that's not good enough.
If you're just joining us and Talking Out for the first time, this is Mo Smith Pro, aka Receipts, and I just needed you to be aware of that. So continue, please.
Okay. Yes. So along with that, they're gouging from the federal government, and they're like, we need to find other resources because that's not enough. They're also gouging from local municipalities as well as state police in order to get money. That's what it all boils down to. Greed.
Right. Okay.
Absolutely.
Wait, Aaron.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to say this. It's also a two-way street. When we talk about crime, I'm not going to say black on black crime because that's a bullshit term that they came up with. We ain't going to get onto that. That's a whole totally different story.
Oh, God, yes.
That was a previous episode.
But when we talk about crime within the inner city, because well, fuck that. I'm gonna say something about black on black crime because it irritates me when they say that because 97% of crimes that happen are race on race. So that means yellow man on yellow man, white man on white man, brown man on brown man. So when they say black on black, that's some bullshit. But at the same time, me coming from the city of Detroit, I've seen a lot of shit.
I'm sure.
Shit.
I've seen a lot of shit.
It's
so
so cold
it so it comes from the fact that it starts in school, in the house. So when they took away the after school programs, what the fuck kids gonna do? I'm walking home. I know the drug dealers. I know them. Grew up with them.
I agree. But also that was by design.
Yep, that was by design.
But can I say something, Aaron?
So we have to go. So I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let you go ahead and speak, Darian. We have to start in the community. Now, granted, what the police are doing, yeah, that's fucked up, and they need to be fucking held accountable. But at the same time, we have to hold ourselves accountable for that same shit.
I have to disagree.
Why?
Wait, but let me go first, Mo, because you always get to agree. So let me say this, Mo. Aaron. So as I was watching Love and Hip Hop, because I wasn't done telling my philosophical enlightenment moment of the week.
Loud.
So as I was watching Love and Hip Hop, don't roll your eyes, Emily. You're my best friend. You're supposed to just nod and agree.
That's bro code, so go on.
What did you just say about your friend telling you about your...
No matter what I said, don't use my words against me.
Not in front of other people.
No, I'm just playing. So the interesting thing about that whole narrative, when Jock found out that his artist had just got killed, Trick Daddy was there, Lil Scrappy was there. The other people were there, but Trick Daddy and Lil Scrappy grew up on the streets. They were street niggas. So they were basically saying that's why when you get your blessing, aka when you get on in the industry, you have to stop doing all that street stuff because it's not meant for us to stay. So it was interesting. Trick Daddy then said, "My son has never been nor wherever he will be in the projects, and I don't care what nobody got to say about it." So it's interesting to me. This is why. Because then they flipped it and said, well, we glorify this lifestyle, right? So there's a balance, right? Because we cannot deny the fact that there is a certain lifestyle that we glorify. We do.
But at the same time,
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it because.
But I think we gotta talk about drugs. We gotta talk about drugs and the music.
Right, but wait. Let me.
Go ahead.
I'm not saying because a lot of these artists are literally just speaking their truths. Like you cannot rap about being a suburban kid if you grew up in the hood. That's what you're rapping about. You're rapping what you're rapping about. And before we got on the live today, I was listening to some ratchet shit. I get it.
That ass
but
and see if
are we?
Catch it. Hey.
There's. It's important that we understand that it's a balance of these things. We can say this is this artist's perspective. This is this artist and what they're expressing. And it's great to have fun and turn that pain into progress. However, we don't need to turn that into our lives. You know how many suburban black men flex like they're from the goddamn hood?
Yeah.
Okay, but at the same time,
and flex like they about that life and don't be about that life.
Okay, so,
real.
Thank you, Junior. She's the only one who seems to know what I'm talking about. But
yeah, I know.
I said this on the podcast
but here's the thing with that.
And I'm gonna say,
hold on, Mo. Tristan and then Mo.
One more time.
Oh, okay.
I've never heard of a black person killing another black person
just because they're black.
True. And when we talk about cops killing black men and things of that nature, these are specifically racially motivated crimes or things that are influenced by prejudice. I don't care if black people are murdering each other at the most alarming rate in the world. That could all be well and good, but I ain't never heard of a black person killing another black man because he was black. And
but that goes back to what somebody else said. This two different conversations, though. We're talking about
conversations.
How as a community, how as a black community, we can get to a point to where we're allowing artists to live their truth, to express their art without creating the need for people who don't live that life to want to live it.
But that's the point. The simple fact of the matter is, real street niggas don't want to be in the streets. I'm serious.
Let me ask you this, Aaron. Let me ask you this. So, street niggas don't want to be in the street, but as soon as the street niggas say they don't want to be in the street, what energy do they get?
What do you mean?
As soon as the street niggas say, I don't want to be in the streets, I don't want to live this life, I want to be.
But everybody knows that. That's why. What's the first thing that somebody from the hood go buy? A fancy ass car.
As soon as they say they don't want to live that life, they get called all kinds of names.
But that's not true. Street yo, there are so many rappers who get on and still do street shit. Case in point, why effing Lucci?
Because they feel like they. But look at where he is now.
But hold on. Look at where he lives.
Wait, pause. That's a great example. Why FN Lucci got on? He was making money, dating a beautiful woman, and because he wouldn't leave the streets. I believe because he felt like if he left the streets, he would get labeled a sellout. Now he's on fucking trial for murder. And so all that work that he did, all that progress that he made is nothing now because he's a black man on trial for murder.
How much is that? How much of that was him wanting to be in the streets and him feeling obligated?
Right, that's my point, the obligation. So my point is saying this, as a community, we need to say when motherfuckers get to the point where they can leave the streets, we need to go ahead and say, and not say, oh, you left the streets, you a sellout, because guess who else got that shit? Jay-Z got that same shit for not being, you ain't no, at the end of the day, it's like, well, what do you expect? They have billions of dollars. Why the fuck?
Or how about we don't make that the standard in the first place?
We don't make what the standard?
Being in the streets. I know people who made literally hundreds of thousands, I know somebody who actually nigga damn near made $1 million in just street money. I know them. Yeah. I know these people.
I get 5.
Right. Let me hold.
I know these people. I grew up with these people. The thing is, we don't hold ourselves accountable for the shit that these people do.
So my thing is the idea that with black on black crime is that that we as a community, there's nobody in the black community that is trying to dispel that. There's no one trying to do anything better. There are plenty of black people in the community, and I'm not talking about Beyonce, Jay-Z, or anybody else like that. People like grassroots in the community trying to do better for their community that they are from, and they're not getting the support that they need. So let's not say that black people do not care about black on black crime or about our own community, because there are plenty of us that do.
Plenty. Because the community that puts most back into its own community is the black community. Right. Let's not even But anyway, I didn't really make for this conversation to take.
Okay, let's go ahead. You go ahead.
No. Can I say before we jump off of this?
Yes, please. I'm gonna let Kristin, and then we're gonna because I'm looking at the time. Go ahead, Kristin.
The moral of the story is that poverty is what breeds this kind of desperation. And this lack of access to the rest of the world. So a lot of people who turn to the streets, and those people become their family, is because they don't see, they're ostracized from the rest of the world. They don't have a place when people see you as less than. And so you try to make your own. And so there's a certain freedom, I think, that comes with that. But also, if you don't have the resources, it's easy to resort to crumb snatching and just trying to survive. And it gets really ugly, when someone is cornered and they're trying to survive. And that's what we need to do. That's why reallocation needs to be everywhere. There needs to be more funds from the bottom up.
And maybe we should, raise the minimum wage.
Absolutely, yes.
Nice segue. Okay, so we're gonna move to one more topic before we go to our main topic for tonight. I'm gonna talk about Grease, because Grease the movie. Wait, who here has not seen Grease?
I know, I was like, Grease.
Spoiler alert.
John Travolta. I knew you weren't gonna see Grease, Aaron. I knew that. You can put your hand.
Yeah.
John, you ain't seen Grease?
Y'all can leave.
No.
You should watch Grease.
You've never seen Grease?
Look, okay, it's John Travolta, and I might as well just go home and watch Dirty Dancing, bro.
Oh,
no.
How dare you?
Swayze.
No.
Okay, anyway, so let's talk about Grease.
How dare you?
So Grease.
Funny because they were in a gang. That's funny.
Some of y'all didn't grow up with VH1.
Listen. They're trying to cancel Grease. Okay?
They're
Because
trying to cancel Grease.
I'm about to say, they have decided that Grease is, and I'm gonna just preface, I agree, misogynistic,
Yes.
sexist, and rapey.
Yes.
It was.
Tell me more. All about that.
It is absolutely all of those things.
How
now, I want to know.
I have some stuff you should read about this.
How is it rapey? Listen, do you know Summer Lovin'? Go back and listen to the lyrics of Summer Lovin'. Go back and listen to the lyrics of Grease Lightning.
Right.
It's funny because Funny or Die did a parody of that.
Grease Lightning, that song is literally all about them souping up this car so they can go fuck girls in it.
You know it's a parody, right?
Wait, Grease is a parody?
Consensually,
it came out in the 70s, and it's like a parody of 50s culture.
Parody of the 50s. Yeah.
So you're saying it's not? You're saying they're making fun of it?
I'm not saying that there's not problems with that being in the musical / film, but I'm just saying you're not supposed. It's tongue in cheek.
But it doesn't seem that way.
And it's consensual.
We know how the general public is about satire, though.
The problem with that film is the ending, not the lyrics of the songs.
I feel like hold on, Emily. I feel like when a spoof is a spoof, it's obviously a spoof. AKA, Don't Be a Menace, Scary Movie.
It's not a spoof. It's tongue in cheek.
I think the only thing that was, I think the part where it got really, really rapey is when they're at the drive-in and Danny is trying to be all big tough guy, and he was being like really vulnerable and emotionally available to Sandy in the summertime when they first met, but now he's back around him and his man, so he wants to be all tough guy or whatever, and he tries to push up on her in a way that she's very clearly not for in the drive-in, and she's able to fight him off, but that part is pretty rapey.
Especially because she still stays with his ass.
Part, though.
But that's the thing is she does fight him off. It's not like you come away from that scene being like, oh, he's such a great guy. I mean, that's supposed to be his low point in the film.
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel like the fact that she changes herself to be with him supports the fact that she was okay with that kind of shit?
He changed himself too at the very
end. No, he didn't. No, let me tell you why. They both came to the festival. One had the leather on. Let me finish, Tristan. Let me say it.
Look,
Lord,
we're not gonna have this on my show.
So they both came to the carnival. And they had both dressed like the other one. Danny came all prim and proper with the Letterman jacket, and Sandy came smoking a cigarette in the leather. Which one of the two of them kept that outfit on?
Right.
Sandy kept the leather on. Let me finish. Danny. The message is Danny had to. He's like, oh, I don't have to be this prim and proper dude. Cool, but you got to stay in your leather and your cigarette hoe.
Listen though. You are making a big assumption that becoming slutty is a woman going down or doing something bad.
No, that's not what I said. It's not about her
she gets all gussied up for him. Yeah, and she does it for a man. But there are a lot of things that people have written about this, about the whole Sandra Dee stereotype and stuff like that. That was something that was oppressive to women in the 50s, and that women were trying to escape. And that there are ways to interpret the film that it was actually a good thing for her.
Okay, I'm not saying. Wait, stop. I'm not saying. Look, this is a conversation between me and my best friend. I would like for you to butt out, Tristan. Okay.
You need to have a podcast for that.
I would prefer to have a conversation with Tristan, actually.
And that's why you're not gonna. Okay. But anyway, so this is what I'm saying, Emily. You know how I feel about you know how I feel about sex and sexy people. I'm not saying that her being sexualized was bad. I'm saying they both altered themselves for the other, but the only one that had to change that to keep that alteration was the woman. That's what I see as the problem, not the fact that she became over-sexualized, the fact that it became clear that she had to change for him, but he did not. And I think that message is permanent throughout the entire film.
I got a question though. I got a question.
Go ahead, Mo.
So how was she supposed to change back when all she had on was a top and pants?
I mean, she was sewn into that leather.
I get what you're saying, Mo, but it's a bigger issue than that. The costumer planned for him to change back. They didn't plan for her to change back because the story was.
Can I say something real quick? I just want the audience who's watching to know that Tristan's little thing on the end of his hookah is edible, because I keep seeing him sucking on it and stuff, and I'm like, I just don't want them to wonder if there's something sexual going on here.
I haven't noticed that, Tristan. Look.
Wow.
I think John's got some
candy. It's candy.
John, go ahead.
It tastes just like candy.
I have a question about, I think, cancel culture in general, because I'm not a big fan of it be honest. I think it is possible to look at something from back in the day that doesn't look good now and just say, okay, let's learn from this and let's improve. So I guess I just wanted to get your opinion, guys. I mean, do you really think that Grease should just be taken off of any relevancy because of, things in the movie that just don't sit well with today? Or can we look at it and say, all right, let's keep it existing in pop culture and let's learn from it? Because if I'm not mistaken, the Muppet Show is getting criticism because of I don't know, things that are insensitive to people of color. But Disney Plus, instead of taking it out completely, they're saying they're giving a message at the beginning of the show before you watch an episode and saying, hey,
put it in
this
context.
is what's going on, and we feel that showing this show is going to make us learn and become better people.
I want to respond to that first.
I think that is such a good point, and I really have been thinking about it a lot lately because I'm about to show Birth of a Nation to one of my classes, and I've been trying to figure out what's the best way to go about that and to treat something that's from the past, that there's a lot that can be learned from it, but obviously it could cause trauma and stuff like that for some of my students. So I just love that you brought that up because it's been such a big topic on my mind lately.
Okay, I want to respond to that. So this is how I feel about it. I do not agree with the erasure of history, period. I do believe in putting history in the proper context. Once again, so there's a difference. Do I think Grease should be canceled? No. I'm not really for cancel culture. I don't really hate it either. I'm really indifferent to cancel culture. I'm like, oop, you got canceled. Oh, you better stop doing that. But I'm not really tripping about it one way or another because I know it exists. So therefore I try my best to move properly. But at the end of the day, I put myself out on this public platform, and so I could get canceled at any moment. And I have to know that if you make them, and a lot of people who get canceled don't get canceled for a one-off. They get canceled because they keep doing and unapologetically doing. They're not making a mistake and be like, oh, my bad, y'all, I'm not gonna do that no more. It's I made a mistake, so I don't care. That's what people are getting canceled. But the thing about Grease was it was always this feel-good moment that had all these problematic things happening within it. So if you're addressing those problematic things for a person, then yes, I think it actually goes back to the black on black crime thing when we're talking about the glorifying the lifestyle. But if you put that lifestyle in the proper context of this is just an artist expressing their experience, not something that you need to go and adopt, then it changes how you receive that. When I listen to artists that live a life, I'm not saying to myself, oh, I need to go to why? My parents, my family worked very hard, so I didn't have to do that. I can definitely appreciate someone else's work and art and talent without feeling like I need to go live it because that has been put in a context for me. Same thing with Grease. So I feel like with all these things and historically, even BOR, right? If you put it in the context, and then it's different when you put it in the context, explain what this is, why it happened, why it's important, that that it's there. That's a whole different situation than just saying here's this thing,
But also, wouldn't it be unrealistic if a movie that takes place during the time of Grease was woke because the 50s weren't woke?
It was not exactly woke.
Grease makes sense.
The 50s was very woke, okay? They knew poodle skirts.
You'd be shocked.
I got one question only. Just one.
Okay.
I've never seen Grease. How many black people were in it?
None.
There's some Latinx people in it though.
Maybe.
Yeah, and she's
the dancer. Chachi's the dancer girl. She the only brown thing in the movie. Which
she
makes
come in there.
sense.
She light brown.
Now I think the film does slut shame her. I would agree with that.
But why?
Again, it's the 50s. That's how that would have occurred in the 50s. I think that things have to make sense for the time period that they take place in. And it would be unrealistic for Grease to have you could do a super diverse cast and make it cool, but then it wouldn't be real. It'd be more fantasy, and that's fine.
That's why I couldn't get to the pilot of Bridgerton. I saw it and I was just like, I don't.
Thank you.
There's a lot of. I think there's a lot of value in that. Because they put women characters, especially more in video games than in TV. They'll have women play characters that but as far as you have to think about how the media is affecting you, and not just like what makes logical sense. And so seeing women or people of color in these places will affect the way children, conceive of themselves. Yeah. So I think, and the class that I will be teaching next semester is actually called History and Fiction, U.S. History as told through film. And the one conclusion that I've really come to from my research is that, like, all films and any kind of historical fiction, it's always about the time period in which it was made, not about the time period in which it was set. So really, anything you're seeing in Greece is about the 70s and what they were dealing with women's lib and all that stuff going on, and them trying to figure out what that looked like or what that was gonna look like. And so I personally advocate for putting women and people of color in things that they would not historically have been in. But
I personally don't.
Yeah,
and this is why I don't, because I feel like I don't want to ever fix a young person of color's mind to think that shit was like it wasn't, because what
they're
happens
gonna find out.
But at what cost?
Maybe
because
they're gonna find out.
Yeah, because sometimes like feeling a certain way,
fiction, and like learn from it. Like Shonda Rhimes was saying, we try to be as medically accurate as possible because sometimes people are getting their medical knowledge from Grey's Anatomy. Not everybody goes back and learns.
God, no.
No, really, for real. No, for real. Not everybody's reading medical journals or goes to like subscribes to WebMD's mailing list. They don't know until something's wrong with them unless they see it.
And it's like this. Like I always tell this story. My mom showing me roots before I went to kindergarten was important because I was very young the first time somebody called me the N-word, but I knew what was happening. Had I not, like, you're right, Emily, they are going to learn, but when are they going to learn, and how are they going to learn, and how is that going to affect them? Me learning from my mother and roots in a safe environment was much better than me learning something improper. So the reason I'm not supportive of it is because it's like, I have too many problematic things with Bridgerton. First of all, yeah, you did it, but then you use all light-skinned people, for one. No flex, but it's like, oh, okay, what are you telling us? But then on top of that, it's like, okay, you're putting this idea forward that Black people could be royalty, which I don't disagree with. But if you want to show Black people being royalty in history, why not show them where they were actually royalty? Because there's so many examples of Black people who are actually royalty in history, but not in this. Like, why show them being European royalty? It sends a bad message. Like, but this is the kind of royalty to treasure. European royalty, not African royalty. And she could have just shown the same thing as with African royalty. So to me, I feel like it's very problematic. But I love Shonda Rhimes because she created Olivia Pope. So I support her efforts, but I do think it is problematic. John?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a great value in being as accurate as possible. Obviously, during that time that Bridgerton is set, Black people were not in places of royalty, so that's understandable. I guess when I looked at the show, that lack of reality didn't come to mind to me. What I saw was, okay, Shonda Rhimes, she read the books that are based on Bridgerton, and she automatically said to herself, okay, I got to make this into a show. I'm thinking that she just wanted to, fuck around with history a little bit, just for creative purposes. Maybe something in her mind was just going, what if Black people were in these positions of royalty? Let's set that scene. So I guess, rather than, at least for me, rather than approaching it from a, what is actually a realistic perspective, I just thought, all right, maybe Shonda Rhimes just wanted to, fuck around and have fun, and just create a scenario.
I agree. I just feel like this, like, I get what you're saying. What if she just wanted to, but sometimes you can't play with some stuff you can't play with.
I like this question here. Should Hamilton have an all-white cast?
I think I know who that is.
Because we definitely played with that, right?
I think what Emily said about
let Kristin hop on, and then I'm just saying they wanted to respond to the question. So let Kristin and Emily. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm sorry, but let Kristin and Emily answer the question, and then whatever you want to say, and then we're gonna go to our main topic.
Oh no, that was it. I was just saying. John was saying like making it actual fiction, right? Like this is historical fiction, and so Shonda Rhimes was putting some more fiction into it, and that speaks to this person's comment or this person's question here: should Hamilton have an all-white cast? Because those things didn't happen with colored and Latin like they do on Lin-Manuel's stage.
You already know my answer to that question. Emily, did you have a comment? And then Tristan, and then we're going to go to our main topic for the night.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that this is a really good idea of what I was like trying to say, where I think what Lin-Manuel was going for was he wanted young kids of color to be able to see American history as their history. And so sometimes I think that fantasy and what we sort of allow ourselves to believe is possible and stuff like that is just more powerful. It's like Larry used to always say in acting class, fantasy's more powerful than like anything else. Right. And I think that there's a time and a place for it, obviously, and maybe Bridgerton is a time when it wasn't used as well as it could have been. I have to say I wasn't thinking about it that much when I was watching it, so I should go back. But I think that's a really good example, Hamilton, of someone who did it well, and had like a real purpose for doing it and didn't just do it to do it. And it touched a lot of people.
Well, I haven't seen Hamilton for the same reason I haven't seen Bridgerton. But at some point, go ahead, Tristan. I mean, look.
You haven't seen Hamilton. You can
I've got these notes here about minimum wage.
Yeah, so Tristan, say what you got to say. Because I'm not leaving nothing on Nelly Media.
Because I walked up and left when but I heard what she was saying. I think it is very dope to look at when something was made versus the time period it's about, because I think it does tell you more about kind of what the intent was, where we were in the culture. Because if you look at like Hamilton or even Bridgerton, clearly the reason why there was colorblind casting done is because we're having that conversation right now in this moment. One of my favorite genres of movies is black films that were made like in the mid to late 90s, early 2000s. Things like The Best Man, Two Can Play That Game, all of that stuff. Because I feel like, at least for me, it feels, I don't want to say more authentically black, but I think things that have been made more recent, there's been a concerted effort to make it more accessible to the general public versus like if you watch black movies in the mid 90s, late 90s, it was very much for the culture. Like there would be jokes that white people would not get because they ain't black. Coming to America, y'all know damn well all that stuff about S curls, you won't get those jokes if you didn't have a mom or a dad or an aunt who had an S curl that was wet as fuck and grease all over the place. That's all. I'm done now.
That's my dad.
Okay, before we go to our wait, we're moving on because we passed. I know, but we moving.
Okay, all right.
But before we move to our main topics for the night, we're going to head to a commercial break. But then during this commercial break, I want to give you all an exclusive peek at The Spot. The Spot is a newscast sponsored by the Springer Opera House, where we take a moment to explore the inner workings of producing artistic theater, arts, culture, everything that's happening currently. But this past week, we sat down with the director, screenwriter, and producer, Ty Mans, who produces a lot of faith-based films amongst a lot of other things. And he is filming in Columbus, Georgia, and expanding the theater down in there. So I'm going to give you all a little sneak peek at the first episode. What's up, everybody? I'm your boy, Duryea Rashad, and I'm here with another episode of The Spot, your all-access backstage pass to all things Springer. And of course, as usual, I got all the tea when it comes to anything current events, theater, arts, and culture. Now, today I'm here to drop off a little gem from screenwriter, director, and producer Ty Mans. I was joined by Ty and a few familiar Springer faces as they bring the story of criminal justice injustices to the big screen. And I was allowed to deliver some very special news. Take a look. So, Redeemed. Do you have a date for Redeemed yet?
Actually, Redeemed was purchased by BET.
Get out of here.
Yep.
Do Shari and Will know that it's going to be on BET?
I don't think I told him.
Can I tell him when I talk to him on Saturday?
You can.
I'm gonna tell them on camera and get their reactions. Okay, great,
Yeah.
great. So I have Shari Dion Perry and I have Will Oliver, both stars of the upcoming Mans Mackey production of Redeemed. So I talked to Ty. I told you I talked to him like a few days ago. Had a long interview, and he told me something, and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Do Will and Shari know?" And he's like, "No." And I was like, "Can I tell them?" And he's like, "Yes."
What?
Redeemed was bought by and will premiere on BET this winter.
No.
Yes.
What? You're lying.
So you are making your film debut on a BET film, young man. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And I know they've been pushing for it. That's awesome.
That was just a little sneak peek of the episode. It's really dope
Jimmy
because
had them titties and them arms out.
Oh, shut up.
Okay, talk about the gut show, baby.
Titties and arms
Gut show. It's your boy Duryea. Make sure you clap them all. Had to show them guns.
Oh my God, I didn't think this through. I didn't think this through. So essentially, that was a little snippet. Shari has been on television. She started acting when she was 12. She was on Any Day Now from Lifetime. But Will, this is his first ever film production of anything. And his first thing on film is being it's being streamed currently.
Super talented dude.
On BET. I was in a play with both of them. They're incredibly talented. Ty Mans is a dope dude. Head over to BET Plus now and you can watch Redeemed. If you want to watch The Spot, more episodes of The Spot, you can always hit up Springer at springeroperahouse.org. And you can always check their Facebook, my Facebook. Their episodes are everywhere. All right. So let's talk about these minimum wage issues now. All right.
Oh, Lord.
So I am a person who I've been a server my entire life. Since I was 3, I first picked up a tray and a beer, and Mama said, "Duryea, bring me a Heineken out the fridge." And so ever since it was history, I didn't get
your mom says your name.
Yes, actually, that is how she says it.
Duryea. That's how.
How you gonna tell me how my mama says my
I think
name?
she's right.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye.
I think she's right.
All right, and thank you for joining us on Talk It Out, another episode. Tell me how my mama say my name. Anyway, so ever since being, having grown up in a circumstance where there was constant like, bring me the beer, give me the salt, hand me a plate, being ordered around. I was never paid until I got an official job. And in that time, I should be back paid for. But we're not going to talk about that.
We're
not going to talk about it.
Shirley Caesar had a song called No Charge. I'm going to need you to listen to that, honey.
Anyway, so looking at the minimum wage thing, it's very near and dear to my heart because I've worked for tips. And I already see how people deal with tipped workers. Like, y'all feel like they're going to be cool, but they're not going to be cool. Tip your freaking tip workers, right? However, when you look at minimum wage, the most common argument I hear is that, well, if we raise minimum wage, then prices will inflate. But I have Emily, fix your face. She said, oh. But living in a city, I've lived in a city where minimum wage was $15. And the prices, like, I actually saw this this chart, and it basically compared the prices of the most expensive Taco Bell burrito in a place where minimum wage was $15 to the most expensive Taco Bell burrito in a place where minimum wage was only $7. And the price difference, there was a difference, was 10 cents. So the burrito cost 10 cents more in the place where minimum wage was $15. So I personally think that excuse is just BS. Emily, put your pen.
I don't know, but what about
I have another example of the same thing here.
Wait.
Yeah, Emily, what's your example?
In 2014.
Don't discredit my example, Jeter. I'm in so like.
What about the price of milk? Like Taco Bell, it has
mine is macaroni and cheese.
The $5 box at Taco Bell is $5 box.
Before I let Emily and Jeter run away with this, let me say this. anybody out there planning to start a company or start a channel or don't let your friend, because they're gonna embarrass the hell out of you on the internet. Every
Don't
chance
do
they
that.
get.
Don't
Go
do
ahead,
that.
Emily.
Oh, only if you're an asshole in real life, though. So in 2014, on Slate, they had a video where this journalist found that if they raised the minimum wage, and this was only raising the minimum wage to $11.83, because in 2014, that would have been what would put somebody working full-time over the poverty limit. Mm-hmm. The amount that a $68 box of Kraft macaroni and cheese would go up by 1 penny if the cost was passed on to the consumer. But of course, the cost shouldn't be passed on to the consumer. The idea really is that the cuts should come from above. So that whole argument of prices going up, that's just you playing into the man and like what they want you to think. Because really the idea is that the CEO used to make 200 times what the like minimum wage workers made, and now they make, 500-600 times. I mean, when the minimum wage was the most valuable, like it had the most buying power, that was 1968, which is why boomers think that the minimum wage as it is fine. Because when they were coming up, it was, you could live off of it. And if you do the inflation translation, 63, it was, or no, sorry, not 1963, 1968. It was $1.60 per hour. But that would be the equivalent today of being $11.76. So basically, the generation who's telling us that we shouldn't raise the minimum wage had what we're asking for when
a livable wage.
They were in our stage of life, or more people like younger than us, I guess now. But
exactly.
So all of that stuff to me is just completely like irrelevant.
That reminds me of that meme where it's like some older lady, I guess on Twitter, was like, shouldn't have the student loan debt be like forgiven, because like I was able to work through college, and then someone responded like, oh, but that's back when you were like paying like a few shekels for yes, for some courses, as opposed to now shekels. Where college, granted, Columbus State University, where I went to school, was probably one of the cheapest state universities.
That's
Georgia.
That tuition per semester still is like $2,000-$3,000.
But that's almost 10 years ago. There's no telling what it is right now.
I just looked it up, and it really hasn't gone up very much at all. Because right
now, it hasn't gone up by much. I think my tuition this past semester was like $3,000-ish, give or take.
But like I said, like that's still one of the cheaper ones in the state of Georgia, where if you try to go to UGA,
still $6,000 a year times 4. That means your bachelor's degree costs $24,000. Yep. So essentially, it's a car. Your education at a moderately priced state school is a car.
That's That's a moderately priced one.
And that's a moderate. That's not speaking about if you want to go. If you want to go to one of these HBCUs, a lot of HBCUs are private colleges like Morehouse.
No, they're not.
They're
But let's not get off topic. Let's not get off topic. Let's not get off topic. Let's swerve back to minimum wage, because we don't go on to deferring student loans.
But that's part of it though, like, because there are people that are working through college and they're not having enough to live beyond what they're trying to pay for tuition. Like,
well, so let me play devil's advocate real quick, because I talked to somebody and they were like, well,
men just love to do that, don't they?
Do what? Play devil's advocate. I'm literally hosting a podcast. Okay, like I'm literally at work right now. Can I please? No. So essentially, I heard someone say that minimum wage is enough. You get some roommates, you can work your way through college. They're basically saying minimum wage is for kids.
Nope.
Let me finish. Let me throw it out there. Go ahead. Because I know we got some people.
Putting the argument out. I got.
It's some people on the panel who ain't talking. I ain't gonna force them to talk, but I know how they feel, so I'm trying to inspire them to say something right quick. So they feel like this is for students to work their way out of college. So it's not for them to live. It's for them to have a roommate, share responsibilities, learn how to maintain a budget, maintain a house. It's not for that. So they feel like workers that work at, like, say, McDonald's aren't supposed to live off of that. They're supposed to, those are for students only. My response to that would be, so are you assuming that only children work at those places? Because then you're saying that those jobs aren't for adults. And if every adult actually took the time to go to college, get a degree, and then work some sort of like job that was like above the minimum wage type of job, what do you think would happen to the economy into those jobs? What do you think only children would work those jobs? Because if you've never worked in a job like that, you realize like kids ain't but 25% of the goddamn employees.
Look at the comment.
I don't see comments. Aaron, go ahead. I see you. Go ahead, Aaron. Let's hear from you.
All right. So first off, I want to start off by saying,
oh God.
Okay.
Y'all ain't gonna like me after this one.
I can't hear you very well.
Hold on 1 second.
That's
fear. I mean, we'll forgive you. I mean, you're a Pistons fan, for God's sake.
He's scared.
Okay, so I was saying y'all ain't gonna like me after this one. First off, the last time minimum wage was raised was what? 2009?
11 years ago.
2009? 2009.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go off something that you said. I'm gonna use Subway, $5 footlong, right?
Oh my goodness.
The promotion for the $5 footlong started in 2007. Minimum wage was $5.85, something around there, right?
That sounds right.
Yeah, that was the promotion for it. In 2009, the Subway sandwich went up to $6.20, right? Still a $5 footlong. Still the same exact sandwich that you just paid. What, last month, right? That was, what, $1.20 increase? So now imagine if we raise minimum wage $9. Inflation will keep up regardless of what you want to keep it at. Inflation will catch up to. So also in 2009, when minimum wage raised, 1.9 million people lost their jobs. And most of the people who lost their jobs were people who worked in the inner cities and people of foreign descent, immigrants, mostly were people who lost their jobs. So the people that's benefiting the most from the minimum wage raising are the people that's going to lose their jobs.
How do you know they weren't going to already lose those jobs?
Because the reason that they lost their job was because in order to cut costs, because, I'm sorry, a big company is going to cut costs of you. If I can pay you and Dorier $7.50, right? I'm just saying you and Dorier, just for example. If I can pay you and Dorier $7.50, right? To run this coffee shop, okay? I'm going to do that. But if I can fire one of you guys and my coffee shop still runs at the same capacity while also increasing the cost of this latte, I'm gonna fucking do that. It's just it's simple.
That doesn't make any sense because
can I piggyback off something he just said?
Okay.
Well, wait. Here's the problem with that theory.
Okay.
You have two people that are working part time, and you get rid of one of them because you said the minimum wage went up.
Yep.
Then you have that one person working at a full time salary.
Okay.
So that means that person is going to be at a higher tax bracket because they're making more money.
Not necessarily.
And you're paying more taxes. Yeah.
When does taxes come up? At what point does an individual taxes raise?
Well,
let Mo say, and then go ahead.
Also, when you're a full-time employee, most of these companies have benefits. So that's why they keep a bunch of part-time workers.
So the companies that we're talking about.
So are you telling? But so basically, you're telling me that I get rid of one employee and I decide to make that other employee a full-time worker, where I'm going to have to pay them at a slightly higher tax bracket because they're making more, but double the income, and also I'm going to have to pay out insurance, which is insurance, but it's still insurance nonetheless.
So you show me the amount of minimum wage jobs that actually pay their full-time workers insurance. How many?
Wait. I'm gonna pass this.
And then not only that, 98% of the people who are in the workforce work for more than minimum wage. I want to put that in there right now. So that's only 2% of people that's working for minimum wage.
Wait, everyone. Wait, I'm going to pass it to Tristan, but I'm going to get my comment in real quick.
Go ahead, brother.
Now, I've worked for minimum wage part-time places and had benefits. You work there for 90 days. You don't get full benefits, but you absolutely get benefits, and that was serving. So I get what Mo is saying. I'm just throwing that in there. I don't know if I have a point. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay. Go ahead, Tristan.
I think the one
and then
thing
after Tristan, Emily wanted to say something.
I think the one thing we don't talk about when we talk about raising the minimum wage and employment in general is, I think the difference in our generation versus our parents' generation is the people who are like my mom's age, my uncle's ages, when you graduated high school, you could immediately go into a factory and make $20 an hour. You could easily go someplace and make a living wage. So minimum wage could be low because I'm gonna be real honest with you. The expectation was jobs like McDonald's, Starbucks, etc. Those weren't supposed to be jobs you did to make a quote unquote living wage. That's just factually how life went. I think the other thing we don't want to acknowledge about people in our age bracket is there are certain jobs that are out there that we don't want to do that pay well. Mike Rowe has a whole show called Dirty Jobs where it's literally, and you can go online and right now and find industries where you can make very, very, very good money, but people don't want to do the jobs because they're not glamorous. There is very much a thing in our generationally within our culture where because of Instagram, social media, etc., there are certain jobs that are glamorous and that everybody wants. Nobody.
Are they glamorous, or is it just like that we've been trained to believe that
we've been trained to believe they're glamorous.
Money jobs.
Right. I'm not gonna say that in real life they're glamorous, but from what we see on social media, everybody wants to have a cool job. You want to be a PR consultant. You want to be an A&R rep. You want to be a curator at a museum. I'm not saying those aren't great jobs. I'm just saying there are not as many of those jobs as there are people. So I think while I do think we should raise the minimum wage, I think the issue we don't talk about is we want to solve the problem about people making a living wage, but then we don't want to make people get jobs that are already available that could make them a very, very good wage and make them live a comfortable life because it's not cool. It won't. If you said you were the person that I work in an apartment complex, right? We had a guy come clean gutters today. I know bruh makes like 25 plus an hour to clean gutters. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, that's not glamorous. That's not cool. You can if you're a single person, you can live a good life making $25 an hour full time with benefits. You can. But again, we don't want to have that conversation with our peers that are in our age group.
I want to say something real quick. This is my issue. We don't want to accept the fact that some of these jobs are not only necessary, but necessary and valuable. Like, people look at flipping burgers as such a bad thing. Like, don't you eat them motherfucking burgers? Yeah. Don't you trip out? Don't you be excited as hell?
I fuck up my order every time I go, so no, I don't want to.
That's not what we're talking about. Look, I'm not done.
Because they don't get paid enough to care. They don't get paid enough to care.
You get what you pay for.
So how many times have you?
I want to finish. So my point is this: like, you talk about like cleaning gutters. It's crazy. Like, when you really think about it, how many people need their gutters cleaned by somebody else versus how many people need that damn burger they're cooking cooked, right? People go to fast food way more than they get their gutters cleaned, but yet we want to pay less for that thing we get every day. We want to pay more for this thing that we only need when our house or our fucking roof is about to cave in, right?
But so, no, you gotta think about what
So at the end of the day, my point is this. It comes down to, I feel like it's a lot to do with classism, bro. Because the idea is that you people down there don't deserve as much as us up here, because even though we probably don't labor as hard as y'all, let's be clear, we don't labor hard as y'all. Y'all labor a lot harder than us, but we want to say, I want to get 500 times what you're getting just because I'm in the position I'm in, not because I'm doing more work than you. Literally, we have a system that is built based off of the people at the top making more than people at the bottom. basically the people at the bottom working themselves to death for me to benefit instead of for them to benefit and get ahead. And when they ever ask for something that is of value, that is of necessary value, that is of their worth, we act like they're being ungrateful. But Tristan, hold on now, because I'm preaching now.
Okay,
so
my bad.
At the end of the day, and then this comment just came up. I'm gonna put it up. I want my red beans and rice to be right. Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay, great. I want my red beans and rice to be right too. But if I'm being honest, if your red beans and rice was wrong 9 times out of 10, you would stop going to fast food. But the truth is, your red beans and rice is right 9 times out of 10. That's why you keep going back. So at the end of the day, because people working these part-time jobs don't have the luxury of really being shitty at their jobs. Like y'all want to say, we want to put this narrative out there that they don't care.
I worked at fast food. I worked at Zaxby's. Let me tell
I did
you
too.
now.
I'm the best server you will ever have.
So this is
I'm
my
the
thing.
best server you will ever have.
The shit is not difficult, and if we being real honest, very, very soon, cashiers will not be necessary in a fast food spot. Because right now, when I go to Chick-fil-A, I order on the app, and I go to the drive-thru and pick my food up. And when you go to some McDonald's now,
but you're saying that like it's a good thing. You're literally championing. You're literally championing taking jobs away from people.
Okay.
Ultimately, it'll be a good thing.
Right.
Essentially, the business is going to do what's good for the bottom line, and it makes a lot more sense to pay cooks more. It makes more money for me to pay my cooks $16, $17 an hour.
Here's my problem. Y'all are sitting here sounding like, I'm sorry to say it, Republicans. Y'all are sitting here.
Okay. Because I think that with automation and universal basic income combined together, that we could live in a utopia. Oh yeah, I'm really a Republican down here.
Look. I know that was a low blow. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But let me explain why I said it. I know that was an uppercut for some of us, and I know a lot of our friendships might be at stake because I said that. But let me just say why I feel that way. Because it's like this idea that like we're basically saying, well, since the big man is going to do it anyway, we should just make it easier for them instead of saying we should hold them. At least Aaron, yeah. But the truth is, why can't we hold these motherfuckers to task? Because at the end of the day, these big men need these little workers. But they do certain jobs. Cashier, look, if you talk about cashiering, sure, cashier is gonna be automated, but a cashier can't clean the goddamn soda machine. A cashier can't goddamn a machine can't goddamn do all the other things that are in and out, like when the grease motherfucking trap fucks up.
But guess what I can do? I can hire less people.
They can't take. But at the end of the day, my point is all of these things, because you have the margin of error. Even computers malfunction. So you have when computers malfunction, who fixes them?
The IT specialist that you outsource. That's who come in and fix it. The IT specialist that you just that makes $40 an hour. Because why are we making it okay for you to want minimum? Why are we making?
Okay, let's reframe. Minimum doesn't mean the least. The idea of minimum wage.
The
idea of minimum wage is basically saying this is the amount of money that you can live the minimum of lifestyle. Meaning. You can buy it because when minimum wage was started, it was a living wage. That's what it was called. Meaning you could live off of this. Meaning you could have your basic needs, but it's no longer that. Minimum wage is no longer these are your basic needs. This is basically like this is the least I can pay you legally, but that's it. And that's not okay.
Okay, so now once again, I'm gonna get back into it. Why is that okay? Why not want more for yourself? Because I know I do. I like nice shit.
Okay, let me say this right here.
So, what about people that have less options?
Okay, I'm gonna say this real quick, then I'm gonna pass it to Mo.
If you have less
options,
okay.
I just want to say this right quick because this is the thing about it. Like when you have these ideals of this is why another reason I went to that Republican thing because Republicans seem to think everybody wants to be a goddamn billionaire. I look at my grandmother. My grandmother is about 80 and she goes to work. Right? She doesn't want to be rich. She doesn't want to be your version of happy. She wants to be her version of happy. And her version of happiness is, are all my children okay? Can I watch my motherfucking stories? Can I make this peach cobbler? Cool. Everybody doesn't want to be a mega millionaire. Certain people's version of what you would consider minimum is their maximum. And we shouldn't judge them for that or make them feel like because honestly, for a lot of people, contentment is ecstasy.
And that's fine. But at the same time, why should their mediocrity, because that's what the fuck it is, you're being mediocre.
No, it's not.
You're being mediocre. So why should there be you are being mediocre. So call it what it is.
Emily,
but why should your mediocrity
now, Emily? I need you to make a face.
Why should your mediocrity have a effect on everybody else? Because literally, if you raise the minimum wage, the cost of living is going to go up regardless if you like it or not. So now let's talk about the people who are already making $15 an hour. You think that those Ford workers going to get that hot? Oh yeah, well since they're making 15, we're going to put your pay at $30 an hour? Fuck no.
But the cost of living.
Let Jeter and then Rakia.
No, they won't. No, they won't. So okay. One second. So now let me go to my next point. Because I was ready for that too.
Can Rakia repeat her question? Because I just didn't hear it.
I said, do you think?
No, Rakia. Can Rakia repeat?
Oh, go ahead.
Repeat.
That's number one on screen. Number two, why is it such a controversial thing for people to be able to survive? We're talking about being able to survive in this. So, like if anything that this pandemic has taught us is that people are not surviving.
Okay. So now,
and we're not even talking about the American dream. We just want to make people to make it right now.
Right.
So for me, right now, I don't necessarily care about the nice things. I want to make sure, can I pay my rent? Can I make sure my kids have food? Can I make sure my kids have things on their body when they go to school? Can I make sure I have a car to get my kids to school and to get my ass to work? I'm on about basic survival things, and we've seen through this pandemic that most people have not been doing that. So if you got to work multiple minimum wage jobs, and even as a teacher, I know people in my profession as a teacher that have to work second or third jobs to be able to survive right now. So let's talk about that.
Okay. So first of all,
wait, hold on.
Teachers are definitely underpaid.
Hold on. I want you to respond to that, but hold on. Wait.
Go ahead, brother.
Jeter had things she wanted to say, so let's get her, and then we go back to Aaron.
What was I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna say
my comment.
Sorry,
no. Okay,
he said he was gonna go to me like an hour ago,
and then Emily. Look,
what I was gonna say is the cost of living has gone up. Even though minimum wage has not, so it might as well go. The minimum wage might as well go up because the cost of living is going to go up. It should go up because it's going to go up anyway. And to your Subway analogy, people were still buying footlongs. Subway didn't go out of business because they had to, and people who could afford
they sold a lot less.
No, well, that was a different reason.
Because the cost of it went up.
Before you even use that analogy, Subway sales went down because of poor management. They were putting Subway franchises within too close together, so the market became oversaturated. So that was Subway's fault. That wasn't minimum wage.
Mo is receipts.
He does.
He literally has the receipts of everything.
Yeah, and we got to think about how people will be okay. It's we're saying as someone who is going to be okay buying it at $5 or buying it at $6 something. I can sacrifice that. I can pay $6 something so that somebody else can live. So that the person who is making the sandwiches.
Wait. Okay, Mo and then Emily, and it looks like John wants to say something. So Mo, Emily, John.
Hey, John.
Okay, so regardless if you feel like the minimum wage should go up, you're paying for it regardless. And I'll tell you why. You're paying for it regardless because regardless if the minimum wage goes up, inflation happens. It happens on an average between 2 to 3%. Federal Reserve does a decent job in order to artificially keep it low due to the Fed interest rates are at damn near zero. I think it might be 0.25%. So basically, these corporations are just borrowing money all willy nilly. Eventually, it's going to be a big crash, but that's a whole nother show. So, for example, Walmart. Walmart was paying people under $10 an hour on average. I think it was like 8.25. So what they would do is that when they would have their managers when they're doing orientation, because 2/3 of their workforce is part timers, they would have them teach them how to fill out welfare forms for various welfare programs like Section 8, food stamps, and then so on and so forth.
Medicare.
So forth. Medicaid, yeah. So basically, since they didn't have enough money because they're only getting paid that $8.25, they would have them fill out those forms, and on top of that, a third of the sales they would get from the Walmart employees, they were using food stamps to pay it. So basically, Walmart is getting subsidized wage income, and on top of that, they're getting food stamps income because these corporations are getting over because they're keeping the minimum wage artificially low.
So I want to say one thing before I pass it to Emily. I just want to say this. So just because my memory be gone, I won't remember it. The issue I have is that essentially, I wish I was smoking. Okay. Anyway,
I didn't say what. I didn't say what. It could
literally
be nicotine.
the last thing I smoked was a motherfucking turkey. Okay, so like, anyway, I know. Hello, but anyway, so my issue is this: in this country, it seems that we so often congratulate rich people for doing anything and everything they can to be rich, and when people who aren't rich don't want to be rich and just want to get by, we tell them that they're somehow wrong for wanting less, settling, being mediocre. When the truth is, why should they want what I want? Like, they're a whole other individual. Their values are not my values. My value may be being filthy rich, but if their value is making sure their family's happy, and that doesn't mean having a mansion, that doesn't mean negative. So what we'll do is we will say, if this rich man wants to pay his workers chicken scratch, that's fine. But paying those workers what they are worth is absolutely not fine because they should want to be that rich man.
Okay, so
wait,
now,
Aaron, we're coming back to you. Emily, then John, and then Aaron, and then Tristan.
Just go to John. My comment's gone.
Okay, John.
Unmute.
You're muted, buddy.
Unmute.
You're muted. You on mute.
Simple. Okay. Am I on mute now? Oh no,
You good? You good now? You good?
You good?
Okay, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, no, I wasn't really looking to say much because I'm not good at math, but I will say, my argument for the minimum wage is pretty simple. I'm always for hardworking people like myself, like you guys, to get more money. I think that's awesome. If there's a way, there's a universe we could live in where we could have a higher minimum wage and taxes aren't affected or whatever, that would be awesome. So I guess that's all I have to say. I mean, I can't really get into the detailed mathematics of it, but I would love to see a way the minimum wage could be increased without jobs being let go, without tax being increased. If we could find some way to have that perfect balance, that would be great. So
I think there are alternatives to the minimum wage that really probably are better, that we should really be fighting for.
Like
but
what?
I'm never going to vote against
UBI.
going up. Huh? Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. UBI, profit sharing, employee-owned businesses, just basically giving the power back to the people kind of stuff. Okay. Because, like Aaron was saying, like prices and things, like the cost of raising the minimum wage is going to be passed on to the consumer unless we find some way to hold the powers that be accountable, which I don't know what that would look like, but it's certainly possible because there's way more of us than there are of them. So it's really sort of sad that we haven't been able to find a way to leverage that. But I do agree that usually the way that it has been implemented in the past when it's been raised has had some negative repercussions. But I can cite 4 studies here that all came to the conclusion that raising the minimum wage raises incomes, reduces poverty, including child poverty, improves health, public safety, and has little to no negative effect on employment. And this is, all of these were done in the last 3 years, so these aren't like dated studies. And this I got through the Economic Policy Institute. So I'm just saying, I think that like the numbers are saying, while there are bad things that come from it, in the long run, there's more good than bad when you raise it.
Which I will say before I pass it to Aaron, anytime you make a massive change, of course, there are going to be shifts. So that means that some bad is going to happen, some good is going to happen. But like Emily said, in the long run, is it more beneficial or less beneficial for everyone? And I think that's something in America that we need to start adopting, a mentality that says what's best for the masses instead of the individuals. Aaron and then Tristan.
I'm gonna let Tristan go. Go ahead, Tristan. You go first, and then I got you.
Because I think what Aaron is getting at. First, I think we should raise the minimum wage. I'm very much for raising the minimum wage. It's too low. I don't think it needs to be $15 an hour, and let me explain why. I think something that we don't separate is, I disagree with Daria when he says everyone wants to be rich. I don't think everybody wants to be rich.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
I'm sorry. Y'all, didn't he say that everybody? No, he said not everyone wants to be rich.
I literally said the opposite. I literally said everyone doesn't want to be rich.
Everyone wants to be rich.
Right.
I agree. My parents, I don't think they desired to be super wealthy. My parents desired to be comfortable. I want to buy a home. I want to raise a family. I want to be able to go vacation, have nice things, etc. I think where we kind of venture off is some things are jobs and some things are careers. I'm just being honest. That is what it is. If you are simply a cashier at a Dollar General, unless you're trying to get into management, that is a job. It's a means to an end. Some things are careers. Things that are careers typically will pay you more money. It's not about you trying to be rich, but if a plumber, being a plumber is a career. You can make a good living. You can be comfortable. It's not super glamorous, but it can provide you with a comfortable, great life. I think when we talk about raising minimum wage, my issue is we try to make things that I don't think are meant. They're jobs that aren't meant to be careers. And I'm not downing any work. I've worked at Zaxby's, Abercrombie and Fitch, got paid minimum wage at all of them. And at all those jobs, I was fine with that because the expectation was that's not where I was supposed to stay. It was a job for the time being. I was young. It was easy work. It was cool money. It was low stress, et cetera, et cetera. If you want a job that pays you good money, it's going to be a little bit high stress. It's probably going to be some type of skilled labor. Now, when we do talk about that, we get into maybe tech school should be free for all Americans. So that way everyone has access to trade jobs. And I'm not saying that's a conversation we should have, but I think what Aaron was saying, we have to stop glorifying mediocre shit. And I'm sorry, I worked at Zaxby's as a cashier when I was 16 in high school. That shit was basic and mediocre as fuck. It just was. Okay,
after this, after Tristan, Rakia, and then we're gonna go to final thoughts.
We're lying to ourselves if we say anything.
Okay, Mo. Okay, Tristan, Rakia, and Mo, then final thoughts.
At this point, I can order my food on an app and pick it up at a restaurant. Capitalism and businesses don't operate on what's gonna make everyone feel good. No, what's good for the bottom line. And good for the bottom line is I would much rather have everyone order on a kiosk or order on an app where the order will be correct because they ordered it and did it right, and someone prepares the food and I can pay them a little bit of extra. I'm done. Sorry.
All right, Ricky.
Mine's really short, but if we're not trying to glorify the mediocre, we should also stop glorifying the super rich. Because let's deal with that. Because, like you said.
With all the factories and stuff that have been taken out of the United States, we're a service industry economy now. So to say to those people, that's not supposed to be the job for the rest of your life, that's completely unfair.
Right. That's what people did, at least 20, 30 years ago. Not even that long ago. You worked at a factory. My dad's been working the same job at a plastics company before I was born. At least 35 years.
Mine too. My dad has been working the same job since before I was born too.
And he just recently got like another job, a part-time job. Like that's still a service though. Like that's not necessarily a career. Like, but what do you say to him then?
But what about the people who don't have the options to have careers? You know,
Right,
what
people in the
about
prison
how we
system.
treat? What about how we treat? You know, how we treat felons? How we treat people who are recently incarcerated? And the things that we
Felons.
make them do. Like,
Let's talk about felons.
So
let's talk about felons because I never thought about that till you said it right now.
Okay, so
Yes, tell us about felons, Deary. Tell.
Shut up.
I don't think she was done.
Well, sound like Aaron wants to make a comment.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
I do.
Like
Go ahead,
people that have-
Kristin.
I don't think Kristen's done.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is people who, for whatever reason, one way or another, maybe like, you know, they weren't as book smart, or things got in the way, or people are going to perceive them, or they don't want to do jobs where they have to talk to a bunch of people. They like fold, stack. Those people shouldn't have to not have a livable wage just because of either them making their choice because they don't want to be just rich, or that choice was forced upon them from, you know, things that, you know, sometimes when people go to jail, that train started a long time ago that led up to whatever has got them in the situation for something that's going to carry them for the rest of their life. I don't think that they should be punished for that as well. I don't think they should have to wallow in squalor. Because I mean, what is it? $7.25? I don't know because I don't have to do that. But that's squalor.
Ooh,
that's not
that's squalor.
And some states
Okay,
don't
so-
even
People
have
don't
that.
deserve squalor.
Sorry, wait, Aaron. Mo, and then I'm so stressed out to give Aaron the last thought before final thoughts, but I'm gonna do it.
Ooh,
Mo
Mo
and
or
then
Aaron? Mo or Aaron?
Look,
No,
we still got final thoughts.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll come back.
We still got final thoughts. So Mo and then Aaron.
Okay, so here's my favorite phrase. Here's the thing. Everybody talks about automation. Well, those jobs are going to get replaced, and you know, if you make the minimum wage go up, automation is already happening, regardless of if you're working a minimum wage job or not. I work in a field. I'm a truck driver by trade. That's considered skilled labor in this country. Guess what? I'm looking down the line 10, maybe even 20 years. They're going to have automated trucks on the road. So that means I'm going to be out of a job, or I'm going to be in a position where I'll be a meat sack in a seat where I'll be making less money. So it happens regardless. So, I mean, raising the minimum wage is not going to change that.
Right.
So you can't use that as an excuse like, oh, well, you know, it's going to turn to automation, or, you know, it's going to offset costs. That's happening anyway. So we need to stop making these excuses. Stop calling people mediocre because they're in a minimum wage job, because you don't know what their story is. For all you know, I have a friend right now who's also a truck driver. There was a school in South Carolina. He paid his tuition, went this year that he was a senior year when they was graduating, they lost their accreditation. So he spent all that money. And the piece of paper is worthless. But guess what? Student loan said, hey, I need that money. So he puts you in a precarious position. I worked all this time on this degree, but I don't technically have the degree, so I can't apply for these jobs that require this degree. So I have to go do menial labor until probably forever, because student loans are so damn high. So, like I said, you can't call everybody mediocre just because they're in that mediocre job. Because damn it, somebody got to make my fries, and I want them to be happy making a livable wage. Because guess what? If they're not making a livable wage, I got to pay it anyway through my taxes, because they're going to take out social services programs.
So
all right, so
Aaron, they get it.
And Aaron, and then we're going to go to final thoughts.
So first of all, I didn't say people who work those jobs are mediocre. I didn't. I said what I said was, if your dreams were to stay at this job, then they're mediocre. For you to not want more out of yourself, then you're mediocre. I didn't say because you're worth that, and if you're not striving for more. If you're no, that's different. Because if you're not striving for better, then yes, that ass is mediocre, and I'm gonna tell you about it.
But you're saying this.
No. Because all right. So now I'm going to use. I know two people who were recently released from prison. One is my brother.
Okay.
And currently he works at a factory. He makes like $10, some change, something like that. Mm-hmm. And he's happy with that because the money he was making in prison, fucking putting lace panties together, ain't shit. Fucking 35 cents.
Right.
Not lace.
Victoria's Secret used prison labor.
Yeah, I'm dead ass serious.
Right.
Yeah.
So the simple fact of the matter is this. That's not where he wants to be for the rest of his life, even though he's at a plant and he's probably going to get a raise sometime within this period. The fact that people don't want more, and if we do raise minimum wage to $15, those people really ain't going to want shit. So, yes, I would rather me keep the minimum wage here to let the people that really want to strive for, yes, I'm dead ass serious, people that want to strive and work for more, to do that. Then the motherfuckers that say, well, I'm content with this shit, so I'm going to just stay here. Fuck them.
But that's not how that works, because what
happens
is
look. Okay, he got the last.
They stay under social services.
Okay,
that does not
you know
work.
Mo gonna get that comment in.
You
got your
right.
final thought. You got your final
She's
thought.
right,
Mo.
though.
You got your final thought, though. That's all. I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just saying Mo has a final thought. We gotta go.
It's time yet.
We're gonna take a very short ad break, 60 seconds, and during this ad break, I'm not sure which ads we're gonna listen to, but
surprise!
I know. Let's start.
Hey everybody, my name's Chris.
I'm Duryea.
I'm Ricky Z.
Justin.
And Julian.
Have you heard about Anchor.fm? It's the easiest way to make a podcast. First off, it's free.
Oh, I love free, especially when we're talking creation tools that allow you to record and edit right from your phone and computer.
And Anchor will actually distribute your podcast for you. So as soon as you're finished recording, you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many other platforms.
And you can make money off of your podcast with no minimum listenership.
It's basically a one-stop shop for everything you need. So head on over to anchor.fm and download the mobile app now. And make sure you come back and geek out with us. That was the longest commercial break we've ever had here on Talk It Out. But on the commercial break, what is that sound? What is that sound? What is that? Who's that? Oh, okay. So on that commercial break, you saw an ad for our 24-hour live stream, which is next Wednesday. Talk It Out will not be on Thursday next week. It will be on Wednesday at the same time, 8 o'clock, along with a whole day worth of events, which we talked about earlier in the episode. You also saw an ad for live streams from Rem Alternis. They do RPG, which is role-playing games of Shadowrun missions. I'm there. Another fellow panelist, Danny's there. We do a lot of fun stuff there. You also saw an ad for Jessica Myers. It's jessicamyers.com. She will also be doing a segment on real estate investment during our 24-hour live stream. And that was her latest project that just got fully completed. And we also saw an ad for Geeking Out and also Anchor.fm. If you're interested in doing a podcast and you want to know the easiest, freest way to make a podcast with all the tools you need, head over to Anchor.fm and see Geek It Out every other Monday. Next week, you'll have 2 episodes of Geeking Out. You'll have one on Monday at our regular time, and you'll have another one at 10 o'clock p.m. on Wednesday, which is going to close out our 24-hour live stream. All right, so this is Final Thoughts. Final Thoughts is the portion of our show where we get to, each panelist is going to say what they thought, how they felt about the show, what they're leaving with, or what they want you as an audience member to leave with. So, does anyone want to go first? Okay. I'm going to go with Tristan. And then after Tristan, we're going to go to Jeter. Go.
Mute.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, I was trying to be right. I think that we should raise the minimum. Where did Derriere go?
Don't worry about it.
We should raise the minimum wage, not to like $15 an hour, but I also think we need to address other things too that deal with labor, such as making trade school accessible to everyone, so maybe free to all Americans. UBI is a thing that I think we should consider and think about for certain people. I don't think that raising the minimum wage simply solves the employment issue. I think it's a way bigger conversation that covers way more things that raising it to $15 just won't solve. So yeah. I'm done.
All right.
Skin popping.
Yeah.
There you go. That was me. I don't have that much to say. It's all been covered here, and I appreciate everybody's like perspectives and stuff like that. I definitely learned a lot from everybody. You know, even you, Aaron. It was a great time. Yeah, just keep being great. Keep fighting from a place of love. That's all I have to say.
That was Kristin. You can find Kristin on Instagram at Kristin_Jeter, Jeter. Kristin is spelled Kristen. Next, let's hear from John Francois from tell me the Anything Show.
Correct. There we go. My mic is unmuted. Yeah, the Anything Show with John Francois. Yes, that's correct. Let's see. Great panel, great discussions tonight. I learned that we should, instead of giving to the cancel culture, learn from it, learn from our mistakes, and maybe from here on out try to be better humans overall. Speaking of better humans, I hope that we can get more of those on the police force so that less Black people can get murdered and such. So that would be great. Let's see. I also I'm all for raising minimum wage. If we could do it in a way that doesn't affect jobs or taxes, that would be awesome. And I think that's Bridgerton. Yeah, I mean, I thought Bridgerton was very nice. I mean, coming from a guy who used to do acting in the past and who was involved in colorblind casting, I am biased in support of the colorblind casting that was behind Bridgerton. So, I mean, we can always have our disagreements over that. I can understand that. And kind of back away what Kristin said. I mean, I think no matter what you do, what opinion you have, no matter what, just come from a place of love, when you wake up every day in the morning. So thank you, guys.
Excellent. That was John Francois from the Anything Show. You can find him on Instagram at Anything Show Francois. Francois is spelled Francois. Mm-hmm. Next, let's hear from Ricky.
Oh, okay. I wasn't ready anymore. Like I lost my train of thought.
Do you need a moment?
No, I think I'm ready now. Okay, so I have to say this, John, but like I truly don't believe cancel culture is a thing. I think that the thing that we are seeing now is that there needs to be more of a conversation about these things from the past that clearly are problematic, and we haven't gotten to that point yet. But also we're the thing where we are supposedly canceling people, but they're still making money. Like, who's being really canceled? But anyways, regardless of that, someone about the point about, like, this whole like minimum wage thing has something to do with like pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, which really does not exist. Like pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, like that doesn't exist if you're still not on a level playing field, because there's plenty of us that are not on a level playing field. But also, like, not even just like people of color that may have, where the closest thing they have is minimum wage jobs, but people that have disabilities, that like their only way of getting into the workforce is minimum wage jobs. Do they not deserve livable wage? Is that not a thing for them? So just those are my thoughts on that. Also, you can catch me on Geeking Out every other Monday at 8 p.m. on Facebook Live, Twitch, and YouTube.
What's our topic next week?
Topic next Monday is 90s cartoons. And then our special episode on Wednesday, I can't tell you what the episode is yet because I'm hosting that one. Chris is hosting the one on Monday, but I'll get back to you on that.
When I hear 90s cartoons, I immediately think about Doug.
Yeah.
So
Nickelodeon.
Rick, you can find Ricky Z on Instagram at Ricky_Z, which is RICKEY_Z, or at Twitter at _Ricky Z. All right, next, let's hear from Aaron.
Well, first of all, it was a pleasure being here and talking with you guys on all the various topics. It's good to see everybody's great point of view. Well, it's my first time here, so I'll definitely be back, and I enjoyed you guys. So thank you so much for having me.
Excellent. I feel like, I guess he said, well, I got everything out I wanted to say, so that's my final thought. So, okay, I'll take it. All right, next, let's hear from Emily. You're muted.
I know, I was just trying to figure out how to unmute myself. I also enjoyed the discussion. I always get really heated, but actually I love everyone, so it's fine.
You didn't get heated this time. I don't feel like you were heated at all.
Oh, well, I had heated feelings. But anyway, I think that my sort of last thoughts about raising the minimum wage are, I did just sort of want to reiterate that I feel like I'm still wearing my glasses, but I'm not, and I keep trying to is reiterate that I think that as a person who tries to always be in solidarity with the working class, I'm always going to vote for raising the minimum wage. I mean, I don't think that those capitalist motherfuckers would fight so hard against it if there weren't some way in which it benefited us in a way that takes money from them. But I also do feel like it's going to be more important. I like kind of what Tristan was saying, where it's not going to solve all the problems. And it's going to be, I think, more important to start teaching people about things like profit sharing, employee-owned businesses. Universal basic income is like a huge one, but that I think is pretty far down the line for the United States. And I also just want to throw out there that if you have universal basic income, then automation can be a great thing. And I'm not a Republican for thinking that. And and I agree that cancel culture is kind of like not a real thing. It's just the free market is all it is people are like, oh, well, I don't want to give my money to this thing anymore because they offended me. So I thought that's what we were supposed to want here. Maybe I was wrong. But anyway, I guess that's all I've got to say. So hooray.
Excellent. That was my biffle. For Liffle, Emily Dawson Corderoni, Doctor, Master Extraordinaire, Doctor in Training. And now let's head over to Duryea. I'm just playing.
You do that every time.
I do it every time, right?
Every time.
All right, it's time to hear from Mo.
Okay, so everyone on panel, I love each and every one of you all except Duryea.
Obviously.
I can deal with that. I can live like that.
I'm just kidding.
I'm made for this.
But secondly, my Cash App for the people that are watching, it is Mo Smith Pro, not Mo Pro Smith. Whoever that person is, that's
Mo
not me.
Smith
Mo Smith Pro. Okay, look on the little line where it says my name, Mo Smith Pro. That's
Somebody just got a lot of money.
MOESMITHPRO.
Just gonna have a long day.
So aside
day.
from all that, right? Here's okay. So here's what I don't like in going into my final thoughts. We shouldn't put. It's one thing to put value on positions, but it's a whole other thing to put condescension on the position. Because while you're being condescending to someone that you feel that's beneath you, all because they make less income, there will always be someone that will make more income with you than you, and can be just as easily condescending, even though they probably will probably have even less right to be condescending towards you, because more than likely they probably had a silver spoon in their mouth. Because they came from parents that they were born into that wealth, but they're going to be condescending to you because you don't also share that wealth. So I think we need to have a little bit more humility, especially and a little more humanity and hospitality, especially when we're talking about things dealing with the minimum wage, because frankly, the middle class is going to pay regardless. So we need to really start having people at the top being accountable, because I'm tired of corporate welfare. Period. And that's it for me.
Excellent. That was Mo Smith Pro. You can find Mo Smith on IG at Mo Smith Pro. Mo is spelled with MOE, and also Cash App $Mo Smith Pro. Before I say my final thoughts, I of course, as always, want to thank my panelists and everyone who's watching with us, whether you stopped in for a second, throw in a couple of comments, whether you watched without commenting, or whether you were with us the whole time. I really appreciate you all for making Talk It Out what it is, especially from what it started as. A lot of y'all have been here with us from the beginning, going to this 24-hour live stream. I'm just very humbled by the amount of you all volunteering your time and expertise. A lot of people, like, I don't do as much research as half the panelists do. And the fact that they come with all these receipts and stuff, it just makes me very, like, proud of you all for your knowledge, but also very humbled by the fact that you're willing to put so much effort into this passion project of mine. I also want to say this: everything that everyone said that disagreed with me, they were incorrect. Okay. I just have to throw that out. Right. I just have to have said that. So before I get into my final thoughts, make sure you head over to our YouTube, like our page, subscribe, and also hit that notification bell. The notification bell makes it so that you are notified as soon as we put new content on our web. Also, you can go ahead and share this video now so that people can watch it later. Hopefully they'll get inspired after watching it later so that they'll come back and watch us live. All right, my final thoughts. Come to see our 24-hour live stream. Once again, Talk It Out next week will be on Wednesday, not on Thursday. You will literally see half the people on this screen next week. So come back and see us. It'll be a blast the whole day, anytime to that day. Now, if you come later in the day and I'm acting crazy, that's because I've been up all day.
Oh no, Sleepy Duryea.
Right.
Emily is the only one that knows about Sleepy Duryea from me doing my college late nights. But if I'm acting a certain type of way, just ignore that and have fun. All right,
Duryea.
What's
I'm about
up?
to get my butt kicked, but I forgot. This past week, it was my fraternity's 19-year Founders Day celebration. So we've been 19 years. So I definitely want to give a special shout out to Alpha Psi Kappa Fraternity Incorporated, and as well as our sister org, Phi Nu Kappa Sorority Incorporated. Shout out to my Kappas.
Y'all named a new sorority Phi Nu Kappa?
Sir, it has been around for 19 years. We did not just come up with it.
I mean, but 19 years ago, y'all decided new should be in the name. I'm not judging, but no. Okay.
Okay, so let me tell you this: we are not new to this. We are true to this, and not everybody can be a Kappa. Okay.
Hey, you know what? I don't even want that smoke. I'm usually for the smoke, but I'm not for fraternity sorority smoke, because then everywhere I go, I'm gonna have to be looking at my. No, I'm not for that.
Watch out for the tigers.
I just want to say, when I defend my dissertation, Tristan, can you please come to it and just stand up there with me and like be my cheerleader for everything when I make all my points and stuff?
He's there for it, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so my final thought for tonight is basically, I guess all in all, I'm not so much financially astute. I don't know everything about economics and prices of this. What I do understand is that there's a thing in our country that's happening where there's a lack of empathy in policy implementation. There's a lack of empathy in a lot of these things. And we have to be considerate of other people, which means being knowledgeable of the fact that everyone's version of happiness and success does not mirror our own. And in accepting that, to belittle someone else because their version of happiness is simply owning a house. My grandmother, that was her goal in life, was to own a house and make sure all of her children were happy. She lived long enough to see her great-great-grandchild born and hold him in her arms while also owning her own house. So as far as she is concerned, she's a multimillionaire. Now, other people would say that's mediocre, but for her, there's nothing taking away that happiness. And we should be able to cherish that for her, because the American dream isn't about everyone adhering to our dream. It's everyone being able to live their dream. We shouldn't put a price on another person's dream, because a person's dream is invaluable. So as we move throughout this world, I say to lead with empathy. Like, at the end of the day, if there are people literally making 500 times what someone's making, and maybe making 400 times instead would allow this person to live a livable lifestyle, we should fight for that versus just saying, well, since those people in power are going to do it anyway, let's just bend over and put some lube in there, okay? Because that's not what we're doing, okay? Now, yeah, and that was the analogy I had to use. Having said that, I love you all so much. Please come and join us next Wednesday, March 3rd, my birthday, for a 24-hour live stream / charity event. Yes, Twiceys all day. For a 24-hour live stream / fundraising event for Flirting with Destiny, which will be the first web series self-produced by Nelly Media. We've got our director in line. We've got the main 3 cast members. We've got a cinematographer, and we've got a writing team. It's going to be so dope. Please come, love on us, hang out with us that day, and join us for our next episode of Talk It Out, where is a space where people of opposing views can get together and have a healthy and productive dialogue in a respectful way, keeping in mind that it's not always about proving who's right and who's wrong, unless you're Mo or Aaron. But it's simply about listening and being heard. Have a great night.